taking a nap because I was about to do the deed. And man, my wife was putting the baby to sleep and got a call and was like, "What?" We all just like dropped our shit and got up and left out, man. I didn't get back home till like shit, like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Turned right back around, went to bed, and went to work. But yeah, man, how you been?
I've been alright. You hoes been getting on you nigga nerves and shit. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think we are actually live. Somebody said Adrian Peterson got traded to the Cardinals. How you get traded on the off season and then get traded during the season?
During the season, yeah. What is that about?
First off, when he went, hey Asia. First off, when he went to the Saints, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
If I'm Adrian Peterson, I'm going to tell him you got to trade me to a
top tier team ready to win the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't trade me to the Saints, and you can't turn around for the Saints and trade me to the fucking Cardinals.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Got a lot of stuff going on out there in the news. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Hopefully you guys can hear us, and I'm not really sure why I'm getting a phone call during the show, but I'm assuming that they realize that I'm live on the show.
Yeah. What's going on out there, Soto Nation? I just want to say thanks to everybody who gave me the shout outs and the well wishes for the condolences for my family, man. We had a little setback. We had a loss, so my wife lost her grandmother yesterday. So thank you to everybody that has shown love, sent their condolences. I appreciate you guys, man. It's good to know that, man, when a brother stumbles, man, there's somebody there that at least put a hand out to help you back up. And I appreciate that, man. And everybody that donated to me last week, I appreciate that. I had a mix up on the donation side of the game and got that straightened out. Tom was like, no.
No, that's there for you, and they're supposed to give it to you.
Yeah, well, it's good though, man. It's all good. I appreciate you guys, man, for showing a brother some love, man. My family appreciates you too.
Listen. You're my brother. And not in just a figurative term, but in a literal sense. I don't know if your dad has snuck off.
He could have. My daddy was a Rolling Stone.
It sound like that's my dad, man. I'm just saying. But I can say this. It's hard to find people who, because I will trust people, because when you're alone, it's the worst place to be when you're alone, because you're willing to trust people because you don't want to be alone, and you can get used like that. So I have a lot of people who seem like they cool, and then the shit go left, and that still has yet to happen with you. And I don't know if I don't think I've said it, but I want to say thank you very much, like as Sammy Davis will say, from the bottom. From the bottom.
From the bottom.
From the bottom.
Hey, man, it's all good, brother. I appreciate you, man, and I value friendship and loyalty, man. Those things are really big on me, man. My pops instilled that in me. My mom's instilled that in me, man, and that's just part of my character, man. That's what I do. So I appreciate you, brother. This thing of ours.
Yeah. Let
no man tear us under, brother.
That's right. And now, let's get to this crazy subject.
Yes.
Did you see when we did the movie about Hollywood? I let everybody watch it.
With the pedophiles, yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of that?
Man, it was. It's one thing because I had been aware of the way that those guys are like just, being predators on these little boys and girls for that matter, but I didn't know it was at that magnitude for the boys. When I saw those dudes, man, the house that those dudes had, the mansion and stuff, and how they were recruiting those boys and then had those boys recruiting other boys. That I didn't know it went that deep, man. And it was like there was so many people involved, and the rabbit hole got so deep so fast. I was just like, wow.
And
It
everybody
was
was in
eye-opening.
on it. Everybody was in on it.
Yes. I was baffled, man. I was baffled to just see the magnitude as to how you would think, and most people think, or the perception that I had was, yes, it happens, and yeah, that's probably the real skid row side of Hollywood. That's where the C-listers and B-listers, they doing all that pedophilia stuff.
It's
To
mostly
see it get
it's
yeah, to
mostly
see
the
it get that
D-list.
high up on the ladder, yeah, it was. I was like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just didn't know that it went that high up, and that leads me to believe that it's so big that what that movie showed to me was literally like just the tip of the pyramid, because it has to be just a magnitude of others that we've never heard of, we'll probably never hear of, and we'll never get to tell that story that we know about, man, of these young kids, man, that have just been completely just taken advantage of, and man, just victims, man.
And see,
It's ridiculous.
we talk about child molestation and pedophilia, and we usually give it a white face. But before we keep on going, I want to point something out to you guys. Bishop Eddie Long, he was black. There have been several instances of where there were black. In Hollywood, it's just basically white people. But then white people run Hollywood, i.e. the white Jews who run it. So they had more access. I feel bad because, okay, let me just tell the truth. I've had women come to my house, see the house, and be like, okay, I'm fucking this nigga because this is a nice house. Like, I might not think I was going to fuck him before, but I'm doing now. And then you see those children, and you see them get taken to a mansion that's twice the size as where I'm at, with twice as much shit. And then you tell them, everybody else here is sucking my dick. That's how they get all this stuff. You say that to a kid, and I'll ask you, was peer pressure difficult for you when you were a kid? Because it was for me. Like, because if everybody was doing it, hell, I was a grown-ass man, and everybody did ecstasy, so I did it with them because I didn't want to be the one who didn't do it.
Yeah, it was peer pressure. It was, I would say, difficult for me, and especially with me being a fat kid when I was little. I had to learn on my own and learn so much stuff and learn how to stand up for myself the hard way. But it was a thing to where there was the things that I did that were because others were doing it, because of peer pressure. There was a line, and this was something I was talking to my brother about today. There was a line that I wouldn't cross, and it was the line that my parents set. So yeah, there was a lot of shit that I did just like other kids did. I did my share of dirt in the streets. I did, my time, and there are a lot of things that I'm not proud about that I've done. But there was still some type of moral compass that kept me from going over the edge. I got to the ledge quite a few times, but there were those things that would just say, nah, because if I get caught, this is what's going to happen to me, and that's worse than what I'm doing, than what I'm trying to do now. So there were things that I did, though, that I definitely shouldn't have done and that I wasn't proud of, but it was a thing of just saying, like, hey, when you have a group of people around you, and looking back at it, I was fortunate enough to have just a couple of people that actually gave a shit about me. You know what I'm saying? And to have that let me know that sometimes I could say no and may have been ostracized, but I still had those one or two people that was always my real friends that'd be like, you know what, man, we ain't gonna go do that because that's stupid as hell, and whatever happens to them happens. And we would go and be the ones still staying on the block or still sitting on the porch while those other kids were doing the debauchery and the fuckery that got them into trouble and led them down the wrong path. And I guess just to keep it short, it was it was a thing that saved me so many times, listening to that voice that says, nah, that ain't for you. And that kept me. It honestly did. I can't say, oh, I was just a smart kid and I knew better. No, it was just being able to listen to that voice and having that moral compass to sometimes just say, that ain't for me.
And that's why I noticed when I was young, I got to hang around people better than me, because when you ever heard when they say a team plays up or down to their competition?
Yep.
I think that's me. If I hang around niggas that ain't shit, I'll do ain't shit, and I'll be ain't shit like them. And when I hang around people who are striving and doing good and whatever, I literally do the same thing. When I hang around dudes and all they think about is ass and getting hoes, then that's what I think about, because I gotta stay with them. I can't be the one that don't get hoes, so I gotta be like them. If they spending money, you don't want to be the one that ain't spending money, so you overspend to try to get along. They wearing shit that you don't normally wear, but everybody else wearing it, so you wear it. These children are easily got. And I want to talk, and all the guys over at Tommy Sotomayor Live, I'm only broadcasting this for a little while. Please click the link in the description box. I'm seeing like Lady Green Eyes and Ashley Patterson over there talking. And I keep asking you guys to just, I think that's so weird that I would tell them, hey, can you guys just come over here? Like, they won't, but they'll stay over there. And then they'll be over there saying, hey, Tommy. Like, I didn't just say. Like, so you're letting me know you read what I say. And it's like, I'm saying to them, can you guys just click this link and come over to it? It will take 2 seconds. Like, as soon as you click the link, the new one will come up. You'll be right there.
I saw a show you was doing the other day, and I actually wanted to ask them, like, can you guys that are over there in the chat at Tommy Sotomayor Live, can y'all tell me why y'all not coming over to the other channel? Tell me why y'all won't. Is there a reason that I don't know about? Dude? Tell us something as to why y'all won't come over to this other. Put it in the chat. Just tell us why you not gonna click the link. Cause you're not, and you're steady staying over here.
Yeah. Like I really wish that they could at least explain to me why is it that they're not coming over here. I see them there. Somebody said good topic. Cat said, hey Brian. I'm like, how many times I gotta ask y'all? And then they speak to me when I'll be typing in there like 100 times. Come up to the show.
Oh, there she go. Now she laughs. She's like, I will go to the other channel. Thank you, Green Eyes. Thank you so much. We appreciate
Jonathan come over there talking.
Kat that just spoke to me. Hey, Kat, can you tell me why you not going over to the other side? I guess that's the question.
Maybe it's the dark side over there.
Every week.
It's a strange thing, but I'm about to cut you guys off if you don't leave. You can stay over there all you want to. I'm about to cut you guys off, and you can come over here. Now, the topic we wanted to know about was if kids are molested by someone the parents know, should the parents be held responsible? It's a simple question, and I'm going to pose it to you first.
Should the parents be held responsible? I'm going to say yes. And I say that because it's your job to be the gatekeeper of your child's safety. It's your job to be the guardian. It's your job to look out for, because, and I say that because this is something essentially you created as an adult. This is your baby. This is the better part of you getting with the better part of someone else, and you guys are putting together your better parts and hopefully making something that becomes better than what you are. So with that being said, this is something that you are taking responsibility and assuming responsibility for, to shape, to mold, to nurture, to teach, and to protect, and to make sure that it grows into something that is productive in the world. So your child, your seed, should bear some type of fruit that benefits society. That's just my own personal thing about what the purpose of having children and procreating is. So with that being said, you are responsible for where your child goes. You control where your child goes. You control where. Thank you so much, Joshua. I appreciate that, good sir. And you control what your child is exposed to. And with that being said, then you are responsible for not protecting your child. You are responsible if something does happen. Now, not to say that if it does, that you're the worst person ever, but it is your job and it is your responsibility, and you should be held responsible for that. If my child gets molested, she has every right to come to me and ask me, why did you let this happen? And I have to own that part. I have to say, hey, I didn't know. I was slipping. I was sleeping. I was lazy. I was being careless. I was so caught up in my own shit and being selfish that I wasn't paying attention to you and who you were around. Whatever the case may be, whatever those circumstances are, I have to own that as the adult, as the parent. Absolutely.
You know what's funny about that? And everybody over there at Tommy Sotomayor Live, I'm about to go live. It's about to go down now as I'm about to go to the other side. I'm about to go to the dark side. So thank you guys for watching. Click the link in the description box if you see it after this. Peace. But I want to say to you that here's my thoughts. If a kid jumps in my backyard, drowns in my pool, they hold me responsible and not the parent, which is shocking to me because that kid ain't mine. I don't know this motherfucker. He came up in, bust up in my shit. Know this nigga?
This nigga trespassing in my area.
You know what I'm saying? I should have shot the motherfucker. Y'all have let me get away with that, but he drowned now. I got to deal with the repercussions. What kind of shit is this? So, they don't blame the parent. Kid goes out, 16, robs a bunch of houses. They don't blame the parent.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you is, before I continue, I'm going to loop back around and answer it. But I'm going to ask you another question. Why have we gotten away? Or do you think it would be a slippery slope if we start blaming the parents for what their children do?
I think it's possible to become a slippery slope, but I think you have to start somewhere. You have to put yourself in a position to where you can begin to hold people accountable. And once you start that process, then you can, figure things out along the way as to, how far you're going, if you're going too far, what if this is too extreme. You have to start somewhere. The lack of accountability and responsibility has put us, as not just black people, but as a society, has put us in the situation that we're in now. We have this thing to where you can do whatever you want, say whatever you want, be whoever you want to be, change whatever you want to change, and there's no responsibility or accountability for it. And that leads you down a slippery slope too of just, there's no holds barred, there's no blueprint, there are no boundaries, so therefore that leads to chaos at the end of the day. So I absolutely think that it could get slippery, it could go too far, but I think you need to put yourself in a position to where you're in that middle ground, to where you are beginning the process of holding people accountable for their actions, especially when it comes to adults and children. You have to have something like that.
I'm just gonna keep on asking you questions. I'm enjoying hearing you speak. Somebody in the chat room said, "How does a child seduce an adult?" And they asked that because someone before them said, "Why do a lot of these molesters say that the teenager or the pedophiles say that the kid seduced them?" Do you think they honestly believe that this child is wanting sex with them? Let's see if we can delve into the mind of the molester. I think the question's in the comment section, and you guys keep writing shit in the comment section because you get to direct the show in a lot of cases, because many of you guys say a lot of great things, and that's what I want. Let's get into the mind of the molester. Do you think that some of those guys actually believe that those kids want it?
I don't believe that they honestly believe that they want. I believe they need to believe that, because it helps them to be that enabler, to be able to go along with it, so that it makes them feel it takes away the guilt from them. It makes them feel less guilty. it takes that shame away from them a little bit more to where they're more comfortable or more at peace doing it, thinking that a child does want it. And when I'm speaking of child, I'm talking, 8, 9, 10, 6-year-old kids. You can't tell me that a 6-year-old kid wants sex. He doesn't know what sex is. Not to say that because that child, he or she doesn't have the equipment or doesn't have the body parts, but they don't have a true awareness of their sexuality. They haven't experienced that part of it of life yet. And like like when you said that young lady straight in your one-on-one about pedophilia and the whole pre-pubescent thing, that is so true, because it's like there is a prepubescent part of a child's life to where they don't know about their genitalia and what it does and how it functions and what causes it to do this and what causes it to do that. They acknowledge that it's there, but they don't know what to do with it. They're not, like, oh yeah, this girl got me so horny, or this girl made me erect, or things like that, or that little boy made me wet. They don't have those thoughts or those feelings or anything like that. No, absolutely not. But if you force it as a pedophile, then the biological
bastard.
part of them, huh?
As a grown ass bastard.
Yeah, exactly. Then that body is going to react, which would then make you think, oh yeah, well they must like it. No, you are triggering a biological function of a human being, of a body. So that's why the body is going to respond, because it's made to do that. That doesn't mean that they want it just because they do that. So totally different. That's just like if I'm raping a woman and she's wet, does that mean that she wants it? Oh, no, her body is responding to the biological function that it's supposed to do. It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Very good. And then a lot of these girls and boys get to the point, because I've dealt with so many girls who say that they were raped, and then they got to the point where they just felt like that's who they were. So when they got old enough, they just continued the behavior. I was saying to a young lady a while ago, I said, I've had more women probably in the last 10, 15 years. I've had more head from a woman than kissing a woman. Actually just kissing her lips. And it was funny because I was telling the woman this after I hadn't kissed that woman at all. She sucked the shit out of my dick. I came in her mouth. She waited about 20 minutes, did it again. We hadn't kissed or hugged. But she was comfortable with just doing the sex part. And I always said, we as black people, we don't have emotion anymore. And then she was letting me listen to some of the songs that she listened to when we got in the car. And it was one song that said, I can fuck you from the back while we smoking kush. There's another song that was talking. I said, so y'all songs aren't even, like, there's no emotion in it. It's, they don't, when's the last time you even heard people even talk about kissing? Or hugging or holding hands, or the intimacy part. Yep. And I think it's because so many of these young girls have been introduced to sex, one, very young, and two, it's very antiseptic. It's, I want to see how freaky you can be. I want to see if you can do some dirty shit and then go on about your way. And I think it's honestly because they were so young when they're getting exposed to sex. Like you said, their mentality as a kid when you expose them to sex isn't to understand the entire piece of that pie. They only understand that small piece.
Yep.
And then when you watch these young kids who get molested, I think how the molester gets in is they've understood that we've lost the art of intimacy. So what does the molester do to the kids? They're very intimate with them. What do? They rub their back. We were watching that video. What was one of them was sitting up there massaging the boy back in front of the parents and the grandparents. He talking about, I don't care if this looks wrong. I'm getting it done. Like the fact that he said that let you know there was a problem in his mind. I don't care if this
Yep.
looks wrong. It feels good. And it's funny. Somebody need to loop that. If you break down what he's saying, it's almost like he's explaining what's going on when he said, I don't care if this looks bad because it feels good. And if you think about what the pedophile is saying, he's trying to convince the child, you have kids, you know how hard it is sometimes to convince them motherfuckers to eat something that you need them to eat, and they just won't eat it because they ain't had it. I don't know what that is. I'm not eating it. And you got to explain to them, look, it's really good. Look, and you, or when they're eating it, when they're babies and they're eating baby food and they don't want to eat it, you have to stick that nasty shit in your mouth first.
Right.
And then
get show.
Yeah.
Then give it to them.
You up there.
Right.
It's good.
You're like, it's good. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah. Try it. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I tried that shit with my daughter. She said, well, you eat it then.
Yeah.
You can have mine. You bitch. She said,
you go ahead. No, daddy. No, daddy. I don't like that.
So you know what that how that works. And with that line, I kind of think, and you can chime in on this, I kind of think that's another reason why molesters are getting in, because number one, parents don't really care about their kids like that. But number two, I think they give something that you don't see. I think it's easier for a molester today than it was 30 years ago. Agree or disagree?
Yeah. I would agree, because there's so many. I mean, at the end of the day, when you think about how adults relate to each other and you think about what a child sees, they don't get exposed to that sexual part until they're either with their peers or they're with somebody that's actually trying to have sex with them. And when you look at the dynamic of saying, well, let's say, for instance, I don't know anything about sex. I have no clue about sex. The first experience I have is with a 65-year-old man, and he's performing oral sex on me. Well, now, because I've never been exposed to it, I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. I don't really know what I like or dislike. So this guy is not only my first experience, but he's the architect of the blueprint of my sexuality. And when you think about that, people say all the time, well, I felt this way since I was a little kid. I was always attracted to men. I was, as a woman, I was always attracted to a woman. If I'm a man and I can, as an adult man, I can acknowledge and say, that's a handsome dude. That dude is attractive. That doesn't mean that I'm gay, or that doesn't mean that I like men. Mm-hmm. So I can acknowledge that and still be who I am as a sexual person. However, when I take it further to where my sexual experience is with that of the same sex, and it is my first experience, then I have more of a tendency to gravitate towards that, because it's being written as my blueprint. It's just like, when people can vouch for this, when you think about the position that you like the most when it comes to sex, that's the position that either gets you off the best, or it's the one that you've done the most. And it's the what you're familiar with. It's what you're used to. It's that thing that you've always done it this way, so you become just accustomed to it. So it's not necessarily your preference is your preference. It can definitely be because you've been persuaded to that side, because you weren't educated on sex. You weren't educated. Well, your experience with sex wasn't somebody set you down and told you about a man and a woman, when they love each other very much, they come together and this is how they show it. They didn't do that with you. You got taken to a park by some creeper dude, and he gave you a blowjob to the point where you had an orgasm. The orgasm did feel good at the end of the day. You can't deny that.
Yep.
You cannot deny that orgasm, because it is a biological function of the act that's being performed on you. Now, the fact that it's done by a 65-year-old man, that's the terrible part about it, because you didn't get to choose that. He chose that for you. Mm-hmm. So I think that is the thing that people fail to acknowledge those that are, a particular, have a particular preference when it comes to their sexual orientation, if it's same sex or whatever the case may be. You have to look back at how you were introduced to sex. It's just like when you're a kid and you watch a lot of porn and that's how you was introduced to sex. That's what you gonna think about when you have it for the first time. I've been watching these porno tapes for the past 2 years. I think this is how it goes. Nobody else has shown me anything or talked to me about it or explained to me about it. So what are you going to do when you with a girl? You going to act like you in a goddamn porno because it's what you've been exposed to. It's all that you know. And it's like when you talking about the music and stuff like that, the rapping shit, everybody's smashing now. Back in the 70s, you wanted to wine and dine and finesse and say poetry to a girl to get her to fall in love with you. You know what I'm saying? Your approach to a woman was totally different than what it is now. We went from, excuse me, miss, can I come and talk to you for a second? I just saw you across the street and you're just absolutely beautiful. And I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate how you looking today. To, hey, shawty, come here, girl. That booty like you got on a pamper. It's like, that's what we done went to. You know what I'm saying? It's like people pull up in their cars, honk their horn, and a chick will come and holler at you like you a pimp and she's a hoe. That's where people don't realize where that came from. Yeah. A woman walking up to a car, that's a pimp and a whore type of exchange.
Or a whore and a John.
Yeah. So it's like those dynamics that we've lost, and now we say are cool. It has led us to this point to where we are at now, to where it's so off the rails where we don't really know what's really good and what's bad, what's the right way or the wrong way. But at the end of the day, when you look at the results, it can at least lead us to the fact to where we know what we're doing isn't working. It's not working for our good, because we are in a state now to where we are oversexed. We are in a state now to where we are confused sexually. There is such a large portion of us now that are so sexually confused. It used to be where, most people knew maybe two homosexuals in their life. Maybe had an auntie or uncle that was gay, or you had a choir director at your church that was gay.
Yeah,
now,
always gay.
Yeah, now, you got 5 or 6 people in your family that's gay. You got 6 or 7, 80, 90,000 people in your church that are gay. It's more common practice because there hasn't been any type of balance to it, because nobody's holding each other responsible and accountable for their actions.
I agree. And when you were talking about their first dealings, and is it what they really want to do, or have they just been coerced to do that? I've noticed that almost every black girl I've been with, usually their favorite position is doggy style, and kissing is something that they all claim that they really can't do, or not good at, or that they feel uncomfortable doing. And I've noticed that when doggy style is your favorite position, number one, it allows me as the man to think of you as anyone, because I can't see your face. And maybe it allows the woman to think of who's behind her as anyone too. So again, it goes back to what I was saying, which is the loss of intimacy. And I still believe that because of this loss of intimacy is why a lot of these molesters, that coupled with the internet, because the internet is giving them, and parents giving their kids phones. Now the guy who is your son's gym teacher, or your daughter's soccer coach, because this has happened a lot. Daughter soccer coach up there texting your daughter. Yep. Getting close to your daughter. And of course, you and your daughter and me and my daughter, we gonna butt head. I'm gonna tell you to go to bed. I'm gonna tell you to put that phone down. I'm gonna tell you some shit, and you're gonna start to dislike me once you reach teenagehood. But you want the love of that older figure. Who comes in? The coach. The coach is the dad, but not dad at home. The coach is daughter's first love is typically their father's. So a lot of times what they do is look for pieces of their father in the men they date. And in a lot of instances, you'll see young girls date men about their father's age. It's a fucked up dynamic, but it's always been that way because girls have an affinity for their fathers to a certain extent.
Yes.
So they seek it if you're a good father. Now, there have been situations where fathers have taken advantage of this. And when I see those cases, I'm like, God, dog. Well, the father's taking advantage of the fact that he's constantly with his daughter or constantly with his son. And because he was fucked up at a certain point in time in life, he then turned around and does that to his own child, which is insane on its face. But I've seen it happen so much. But I think that because we don't have intimate settings anymore, these kids still long for intimacy. My cat, it's an animal and it longs for intimacy. Y'all see that cat when I'm doing a show, that motherfucker jump up in my lap and get to doing this. It's wanting the intimacy. And I think what happens with children is that because there's such a lack of intimacy in the homes, these other people who are showing them attention and rubbing their back and asking them what are they doing with their grades and just being like a kind of an older buddy to them. What do those kids understand? Intimacy will make them happy. And so that person will sneak up and rub their dick on them, rub on their back, but slowly go down and get their ass. One thing you have to look out for is I've noticed that one of a pedophiles or a molester's number one tool is, well, let me give you a massage. Well, let me tell you something. We as men know we used to do that to chicks when we were trying to date, did we not?
Yes. Yeah, buddy. Boy, I put these fingers on you, boy. Next thing you know, you like, how did I get naked?
You know what I'm saying?
It don't matter. It don't matter, baby. That's these hands. That's these hands. That's all it is.
Tell a bitch in a minute, you got the yellow pages? Because I'm about to let my finger go walking.
Do the walking. That's right.
But I would tell a bitch that I could cook. You know, I cook. You had to do something to get them to your house, and then you had to coerce them. It seemed like out of sex. Somebody wrote in the comment section that these women are more nasty than us guys. I've noticed that these women are saying things to me that I'm like, I can't do that. Why do you want me to do that? It's gross. But you know what I'm saying? So you look at what's happening with these kids, and you look at what the question that was asked. Do these people believe that these kids want it? And I love your answer. It was like, they have to justify that in their head, so they tell themselves that so they can continue to do what they're doing.
Yep.
But maybe you can speak from the kids' standpoint. I know we're asking a lot, but just see if you can speak from the kids' standpoint now. Mm-hmm. As a kid, what do you think is going through their mind when they're being approached by this person that they care for, that they like, that they think is a good person? And even if they think this might be going too far, what this person is doing, what do you think allows them to just go ahead and go through with it?
Well, I know for a fact that when I was working in elementary school as a Head Start instructor and did state pre-K programs and stuff like that, one of the things we learned is that children naturally, and we're talking about little children, we're talking 3 years old, 3 to 5 years old, they naturally want to please adults. Mm-hmm. They naturally want to make the adult that they spend time with, they want to make them happy. That's how you're able to establish routines with a kid. When you are able to have structure for a kid, they will respond to that because they will see that there is a part to where if I learn to do this, then my teacher or my instructor or my parent will be happy that I can do that, and they will praise me for it. So there's an exchange that takes place. I do, you praise and positively reinforce me. That makes me feel good, and therefore I want to do it again, and the cycle will continue. So it's like when you're teaching a kid something, and the first time they do it right, how you praise them and you clap your hands and you say, "Great job, I'm so proud of you, did such a good job." When they kind of almost make it, you say you almost got it, and you encourage them to keep doing it. Let's try it again. When you fall down, what do? You get up and you try again. So they have that naturally. there is a desire, like you were talking about with all of us. We all desire intimacy. We all desire touch. We all desire that bond and connection with another. Um, we definitely want that from our parents, and we crave it in a family setting. When that is lacking, or there is somebody who is taking advantage of that, the little bit that they will get, like you said, from a massage, that's a form of touch. When you buy them gifts, that's a form of gratification and reward. When they're getting that, they will trade whatever it is that they have to give, or whatever it is they see that you want that will make you happy. A child will eventually reciprocate that when they're in that environment, and there is no guardian. There is nobody to say, no, you don't do that. Even though they may feel that it's wrong, they will definitely reciprocate that by letting you do it to them, because they want that connection. They want that bond, and they see what it takes to do to get it. So it's like when you have a kid that is saying, hey, this guy, he took me out, he bought me McDonald's, he bought me this toy that I wanted, I saw on TV, he made me feel really good, and now all he wants to do is give me a massage. Oh, well, I don't care. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't really like it, but he likes it, so I guess I'll let him do it. And then that goes from the massage starting up here at the shoulders to the massage working on the lower back, then the massage working down by the waist, then the massage working to the legs or the calves and back up to the thighs. And then you get into the sexual organs, and there's a graze or a touch here, and that kid will kind of, I don't kind of feel too cool. I don't like the way this is going, but because of what he's already done for me, I guess I'm going to let it slide. And even if a kid does respond and say, well, no, I don't want that, don't do that, I don't like that, then now what that adult or that authority figure does is he comes back and he reinforces it with, maybe everybody's doing it. Maybe this is natural. Maybe it's a thing to where, well, it's just for a little while. Or, think about something else that you like while I do this. Just let me do it for a few minutes and see if you like it. And some of them may just stop, but he's definitely going to try it again. He's definitely going to wear him down. How many times has a woman, went out with a dude and just been hanging out and spending time with him, and, got to the point to where you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, had the right drink and the right mind, and you slept with him and fucked him.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and be like, man, why did I fuck that dude? I ain't really like him like that. But it's because you were in a position that you shouldn't have put yourself in, but right time and the right mind, the right drink, the right music, and the right mood, your body is going to naturally do what it does, and it's going to get you turned on. It's going to get you aroused. You're going to let your inhibitions down. Your awareness goes down because of the liquor or whatever. Take that to a kid's aspect, and what happens when they pop a pill? What happens when a kid is on Molly? What happens when a kid is on ecstasy? A kid is on Oxy. When you have that does nothing but tip the scale for that authority figure, for that adult.
For that
because
predator.
now I've gotten you to a point to where even though you might be on the fence with what I'm doing, this pill or this drink is going to tip that scale over the way you ain't going to even care. You going to pass out, whatever the case may be.
That's why drugs are typically always involved in rape. And rape, molestation. Now I don't know how much it is when it's pedophiles doing it. It may not be much drugs in it when they're that young, because they have an advantage. Here's how I view it: when they're 12 and under, they have an advantage because they're at a I want to please an adult stage. Because remember, they're being told from the time they're born to please an adult.
Yes.
So they want to please an adult. 13 to 17. Well, they start to have a mind of their own. They want to please themselves. So that's when drugs usually come into it. And then with older women, of course there are drugs involved in it. Of course, there's some type of threat as well. And want to get to that part of it. the threats part of well, Chastity said something, and I will say this, and they want to get to the threats. Chastity said the fear of intimacy from a person who was molested comes from a fear of vulnerability and closeness. It will never go away. I had to break up with the young girl I used to always talk about because she had been molested and all kind of stuff, and she was such a good girl, but was a bad person. Like, everything she did, everything she said was just off. I don't know if you've ever been around people who've had a bad life like that, girls who've been molested or people who've had fucked up childhoods. Like, they will say things and you're like, what'd you just say? Like, I'm assuming maybe I do it. I don't know. I'm sure there's some people who say, well, I don't get why you said that. Or when I joke about things that maybe people feel like they shouldn't be joked about. But she used to say things that were like what? And it became so that I realized, well, this person's not going to change. This shit's going to be on them for the rest of their lives. And they're going to be fighting this for the rest of their lives. And do you want to fight this with them? I know it may sound like a bad thing, but I didn't want to fight it with her. I didn't want to. Shit, there's a dude that's good enough, and I had to tell her, I said, I don't want to talk to you ever again. And I blocked her. Like, so she couldn't text me or call me. And I wouldn't answer. Now, everybody know I don't answer numbers I don't know. So it was sad to me because, like she said, maybe they don't know how to have intimacy because they think being intimate is being vulnerable. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so with that thing about that pedophile being the architect of that person's sexuality because they are the ones that are designing the blueprint for them when it comes to sexuality. That person's mindset and that person's state of being and who he is or she is as a person, as she's, being a predator on this innocent child and making them a victim because of their own selfishness. Well, imagine what that person's mindset is like, and that person's actually designing this person's sexuality. So that person is going to have gaps and issues and problems. There's going to be a lot of dysfunction in that because of how they're being introduced to it. They're being introduced to sex. They're being introduced to their sexuality in a negative way. They are already being misled. They're already being lied to and deceived and coerced. So it's a nickel slick kind of way of getting them to do something. But what they're doing is they're destroying how they relate sexually, and they're tailoring it to what they do sexually. So it's like when you have that exposure to that, then, and especially if it's at a very young age, a child can't process that. Yes. They can't work through it to know what's right, what's wrong, what they should do, or what they shouldn't do. So there's the dysfunction is being bred into them at a very young age. It's just like how the young girls of today are so much more sexually active than the young girls in my age, in my time. Mm-hmm. Back in the day when I was in grammar school, when I was in elementary school, I was winning just to squeeze a girl's butt. Winning. I mean, at the end of the day, if I got to squeeze a butt at recess, oh man, you couldn't tell me shit that day. I'm winning. Such and such let me feel on her booty. I'm good. Whereas to now, that's common practice. The dudes now go to birthday parties. And what they do is they stand like this and the girls come and twerk on them. They come and rub their ass on their dick, and that's how they dance nowadays. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. That's the way that it goes. So it's like they've taken it so far now to where there's no ceiling. It's like whatever, sky's the limit. Do whatever you want. And if you're doing that at a young age, then now I don't know what's right or wrong. And I'm going to be just at your mercy to say, well, you show me if this is what I'm supposed to do. So I am supposed to be sucking dick at 8 because that's what you're showing me. So what does that do for me when I become 17 or I become 22 and I realize that I wasn't? So now I'm saying, well, what the fuck was wrong with me? What happened to me wasn't the right thing to do. Everybody ain't doing it. So now I have no trust in adults. I see that the only thing that they wanted me for was for their own satisfaction. So now I know this is how I have to relate to people. Yes. It's through sex. I relate to people. People do something for me, then I know this is what they want. Oh, this person's being nice to me. He must want his dick sucked. This person's, taking me here, then he must want to fuck me. So if I do meet somebody that has some kind of sense that just want to get to know me because they like me, because of my personality per se, then now I can't function because this person, what the fuck you mean you don't want to fuck me or you ain't trying to get your dick sucked? Oh, there's something wrong with you. I can't trust you. I ain't gonna trust this other motherfucker, but I'm definitely not gonna trust you because you not even trying to get your dick sucked yet. So it must be you up to something. There's something wrong with you, or I understand that you are actually a different person, and my self-esteem is so low that I'm not worth it. I'm not worthy of being with somebody like you. You too nice of a guy. You too good of a person. So I can't be with you because of what I've been through.
I think what happens in that case is, like with the young woman I was talking about, like it's a beautiful young woman, but I could tell she's been through some shit. And this is the first time we met. And she did an amazing job, but I was like, wow, I've not kissed this woman or held this woman, and she didn't suck my dick off. So I pulled the psychologist role out after I talked, because I don't like mistreating people, especially if I try to figure out what they've gone through. And so I was talking to her, and she was telling me about how her mom had kicked her out of the house, and then she went to go live with a friend, and his dad kicked him out of the house, and she was living in her car. And I felt so bad. And she's like, she's got a stepdad. So mom has a man in the house, and I don't know. She could be like a horrible person if everybody keep kicking her out. I don't know. But I felt bad for her, because when you think about this, and I'm not trying to be funny, but when you're, say, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old woman or person, and you're out on your own, you've gotten kicked out, you have no money, you have no parents, you have no real prospect for a job because you don't have any work history. What do you think they end up doing to make ends meet, to get a place to stay? You remember the story about the guy in the movie that I was watching with everybody? Remember they said that he turned to a life of just Hollywood. He became a Hollywood male prostitute. It's just what he did. So he went from getting molested by people to saying, this is what it is. So to go back to what you were saying, I think a lot of people like the young lady I was talking about, a lot of people, it's like me. For some reason, I have more trust for a woman who asks me for money than one who doesn't, because I'm so used to women asking me for money. At least they put their cards. It's like we rationalize people mistreating us. And I think that's what people who are molested do. They rationalize being mistreated. So whenever they get approached by people who just slap their dick in their face or push them down, like, they think that's normal. Like, they're not used to being held and cuddled, and like the new thing that women are doing now is choking themselves on your penis. And they will ask you to hold their head and push it down. And I'm like, where are they getting this from? Like, but you pointed out a little bit, a lot of us are just watching porn. Our intimacy is coming from porn.
That's it.
We see it on porn and we try to execute it.
That's it.
And it's so sad. And any psychologist will tell you, porn is detrimental to your outlook on relationships, period. I know people who can't fuck without watching porn while fucking another person. So they can't get it up, they can't get hard unless that TV is playing porn.
Yep.
And what porn does is it disconnects you from intimacy. Yeah. So these children are now getting on the internet, because porn is easily accessible. We used to get it, we had to watch the scrambled up fucking Skinamax or some shit like that. And it would be a titty with rope by.
You'd be like, oh, there it is. And don't get one of them fancy ass antennas that was big as hell, like the back of a refrigerator with them coils on. You get you one of them, boy, and get halfsies. They be like, oh man, they got halfsies last night. You be like, what? Halfsies? I got half of the screen here. I can see the top
clear
part.
Than a bitch, yes.
You winning, Jack. Be up quiet TV. You had the TV turned up to us just a little. You only hear just that much. You like, oh yeah, he getting it. Get that day. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you people don't understand that because, and this was one of the things about, when people talk about the music of the 70s, that old school music, they painted a picture of love. They painted a picture of romance. They painted a picture of being intimate with somebody, and it's like now when you don't have any balance in that, because what I see visually, like you said, when I'm looking at Pornhub or PornTube, whatever it is, when I'm looking at that, that's what I'm seeing that stimulates me visually. And then when I turn on the radio or I turn on my music, then all I'm being exposed to is break it up, back it up, fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm exposed to. So that's exactly what I think. Oh, that's got to be what it is. That's the programming that I'm getting. And when I don't have anybody at home teaching me anything different, then it's like I don't know what the deal. I don't know what's different. I don't know what intimacy is because nobody is teaching me. They're not teaching it to me. They're not showing it to me. So I've never been exposed to intimacy. What am I naturally going to do? I'm going to do what I've been exposed to. It's going to be porn, Lex Steely, all day long, boot on the back of your neck while I hit it from the back. That's what I'm doing because that's all I know. So it's like there's nobody to show you the difference. There's nobody to show you. You know what? Yeah, you can see that and you can be exposed to it, but here's something else to be exposed to, and we've lost that because it's like there's a mindset of us just saying, well, if you just get it and get off, get in and get out, being a player and a pimp, and you got holes, and you just like the thing like you talk about how dudes today, especially black dudes, all we want to do is fuck each other's woman. I want to take your bitch. Now it's 10 bitches in here. I don't want them. I want the one you with. What kind of mentality is that? My thing is, I don't want to go behind another nigga.
Yep.
I don't. I wish every girl that I've ever slept with was a virgin. I was their first.
I don't like virgins.
I just do.
But I feel you. I don't like virgins.
I
like to hire contractors.
That where I'm going, no man has gone before.
I like hiring contractors. The motherfucker come in, they do the job, they do a good job, and they out. I don't want to hire nobody I got to train just so I can break up with you.
I don't mind that. Nope. I
had a virgin. Last time I had a virgin, that shit wasn't fun at all. I don't even like for you to just have one person. I like for you to just be morally bankrupt.
And there, ladies, enters the whore.
So I don't feel bad. But I want to say this, though. This is all leading up to this idea of what the parents know. If you're trying to be a parent, you and I, it works when they're children. But then they become teenagers, and everything we say now, fucking they rebel against it. We're trying to tell them what's right and what's wrong. We're trying to keep them safe. In essence, we kind of push them out. So they go out and they get raped by the basketball coach, or they get raped by the football coach, and they get whatever. Do we want to look at that and say it was a parent's negligence when we were just trying to be parents and they had too many outlets to not take our parenting? Because think about it. If parents didn't have to worry about their child just getting mad and going to tell the teacher, my parents are mean to me, or they yell at me, because you can get your kids taken away from you by your kids saying that you yell at them.
Mm-hmm.
So you've handicap the parents. When these kids are normally molested and stuff like that, now the Hollywood shit, I think that those parents, something should happen to them because they know what the hell's going on. They've heard the rumors too much. And there's no reason for you to send your prepubescent child off with a grown-ass man. And it damn sure ain't no reason for you to send your 15-year-old daughter off with the 40-year-old basketball coach. Because y'all can say whatever you want, but If your 15-year-old got titties and ass, there are several people over 18 trying to fuck her. They don't care even if she says she's 15. And that's what I was trying to tell the woman last night. Stop trying to act like because you know somebody 15, ain't nobody gonna fuck them because there's a law that says it. If that law didn't exist, it'd be a lot of 15-year-olds getting fucked right now by 50 and 60-year-old men because what they know is this. When you date younger, your money goes farther. What do I mean?
You don't have to buy Chanel bags. You can buy a JCPenney Michael Kors bag. you don't have to go shopping at Gucci. You can go shopping at Target. It's just
you don't have to eat steak.
And that's just,
you don't have to eat steak. Now you can eat steak and shake.
Exactly. Yep.
Bitch in her 30s, you gotta take out for steak. 19-year-old can take it a steak and shake. A girl I was with was 19. She said, I'm hungry. I said, well, what do you want to eat? She said, McDonald's.
See, like McDonald's.
Look at do that. Girl. Look at do that.
You just, you pull up in the drive-thru and just lean back and say, get her whatever she wants.
You know what I'm saying? She can have everything on that menu. We want the entire menu. That's what we want. It's still
like
cheaper than
you be asking her like the people taking the order. Would you like an apple pie with that?
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Go ahead, throw one of them in there.
I said, this is awesome.
Go ahead, throw in 2, dog. She might be hungry later on tonight.
Yeah, then she went there and she said, I just want 4 nuggets. I said, damn, she's a good one. And Ubered herself home. I said, damn.
Yeah.
Now imagine if this is what happened with the young one. Drop it down to, instead of 19, which is legal, drop it down to 15. And the 19-year-olds had a job and been fucked by a few people, and they've become a little savvy to the world, but they're still not savvy. They're not 30-year-old bitch savvy. They're 19-year-old bitch savvy. But when you 15, do you understand that a nigga in a brand new Toyota Camry look impressive to a 15-year-old?
And you ain't even got to go to McDonald's. You go to the gas station, get a box of Pringles, a pack of Annihilators, and a Pepsi. I'm sorry. She ain't drinking no Pepsi at 15. A Fanta. You get that Fanta, some chips, and a candy bar. That's it. You ready to rock and roll.
So now we go back and we ask, would you want to put it on those parents who are just trying to be parents and their kid is rebelling and then rebelled and ran into a dick?
Well, here's the thing. A kid that's that age, you're talking 15, 16 years old, that kid they are becoming sexually aware. And I think that the responsibility of the parent then is not necessarily one of protection, but more so of education. And you have to be willing to talk to your child about sex, the repercussions of sex. I mean, most of these girls don't know that at 13 years old, there are people who want to fuck them. And there are people who are trying to fuck them. That, and it's like, I'm going to have that conversation with my daughter. I'm going to say, every man that you meet wants to have sex with you except for me. I'm the only one. Mm-hmm. Every dude, grown man, old man, young man, cousin, whatever they will do it. I want her to have that in her mind so that she knows not to put herself in a position to where she's alone with an adult. So why I'm telling you, you don't never go and be alone with a dude, why you don't be alone with your coach, why you don't be alone with your teacher. It's because you are a young woman now and everybody wants to have sex with you, whether they admit it or not. And if they tell you they don't, then they lying. And I want my daughter to understand that. So when I'm telling her, no, you can't go spend the night at your friend's house who over there with her 2 brothers and her uncles and her daddy over there. You can't go over there, not because I'm a mean asshole, not because I just don't understand you and your life. I'm not trying to stop you from living your life. I'm protecting you and I'm preparing you for the world that you're going to live in. And unfortunately, these are the kind of people that are living in it.
That's right.
And so it's like there has to be a different mentality that you take on as a parent, to where you have to educate your kids. You shelter them from certain things, absolutely. But when they become to the point where they're getting out into the world, where they're out with their peers and they are becoming sexually aware, and they realize that I got titties now and I got ass, or my dick get hard and I got a big dick and the girls is liking it and they look, you have to explain to them what comes along with that. You know, it's just like you going out there and letting your kid, or telling your kid, yeah, you go out there and sell drugs, make a whole lot of money, man. Go ahead. But you don't tell them about the people that's trying to rob them, the people that's trying to kill them, the cops that's trying to lock them up, and the people that's just going to actually just naturally hate on him because he got something.
Amen.
And that you're going to fuck your life up and wind up dead or in jail. You leave all that out, but you just, yeah, shit, you can't make a lot of money now. Go, I mean, shit, I feel you. You have to give them the full gist of what it is that they're getting into, because that's what they learn from their friends, or they learn it the hard way. They're gonna learn that lesson one way or the other. So why not prepare them and explain to them what it is that they're doing, what it is that's happening to them?
I want to say thank you to Cooper Marinek, who sent a donation. I just looked and got that. I got a donation on my end. So, I'm just like you. I got me one too now, Nick.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Mitty and Joshua.
Fuck that.
Who just hit me off. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Damn it, they must not like what I'm saying. I got to get back on the ball. But when
we having a give-a-thon, y'all.
but when you think about the parenting side of it, if we were to implement this, because here's why I wanted to go here. Those parents who are leaving their kids with these damn old ass men who are supposed to make your daughter a model or make your son a model, you need to be arrested for letting your daughter or son go with that person. If they're talking about modeling, what they do is model. If you're a photographer, you have an eye for the interesting and the beautiful. If he's taking photos of your kid and believes that your kid can be famous, he also believes that your kid has a certain je ne sais quoi. He believes that your kid looks a certain way, even if it's not enticing to him. He believes that your kid would be enticing to someone.
Yes.
So if you leave your kid with that type of person, just so your kid can get some type of stardom, because I think that's the biggest problem in Hollywood. It's not even the pedophiles. The biggest problem in Hollywood are the parents who want to be rich so bad. They missed the boat with themselves, but they don't mind putting their kids out there because, hey, my kid can go be on Nickelodeon. Yeah, I know they molest and rape kids at Nickelodeon, but they also pay those kids, and I won't have to go through the molestation and the raping, and I will get to control the money.
Yeah. And I can live vicariously through my kid at whatever expense. Not just necessarily, I mean, even when you, and my thing is this. Who lets their child go and live with another stranger, another person who says that they can get them something? Because if you do that, then you are giving them complete control and guardianship over your child. Why would you do something like that without understanding? As an adult, you have to understand the fact that I have to be responsible enough to say, well, let's just say, for instance, if I do want to do this, then that means that I am subjecting my child to not just the person that he's going to be living with or she's going to be living with out here in LA or New York or wherever the case may be. I'm subjecting my child to being taken advantage of, molested, raped, whatever the case may be, because I, as the parent, I am not going to be there. So I'm putting my child into the care and at the risk of being taken advantage of by these other people, for the simple fact, not to say that you even accusing these people, but for the simple fact that you are not going to be there. You know what can possibly happen to your kid. Your kid could get robbed. Your kid could get hit by a car. Your kid, I mean, there's anything in the world can happen to this kid because he or she is not in your care. And for you to not be cognizant of that, then you shouldn't have a kid. if you think that that's okay. If you're a parent and you say, well, he seemed to be okay, he was representing a well-established company, and she was definitely somebody who had, you know, so many other artists that she's worked with, and I've never heard anything bad about them. Don't matter if you heard a goddamn thing bad or good about them. The fact of the matter that you are giving the control and the safety of your child to another person is
that you
what
don't
it is
know.
that you have to realize.
That you don't know.
You say what?
That you don't know this nigga.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All you know is he rich. And let me tell you something. The elite designed this. Because why do we look at rich people or people we consider powerful? It's the same thing with me. At 41, if I was just a guy that they saw at Walmart or you saw walk around in flip-flops and you didn't know anything about me, there was no way I could be fucking 19, 20, and 21-year-old fine-ass bitches. It wouldn't happen. There wouldn't be no way they would come to my house. It wouldn't happen. You don't know me. I could be a killer. But they assume that I'm not a killer because look where I got. Now, you think it's a safe assumption, but you think, well, he's a high-profile person. If he was a killer, they would have arrested him by now. But what you don't understand is it's the same analogy I gave about women. The fine woman, everybody wants to fuck her raw. The ugly woman, everybody feel like, I wear a condom. But many people think, fine woman, ain't no way she got no disease.
Right.
It's a backwards train of thought that we don't understand it. And it's the same thing with rich people. If you think to yourself, rich people would have been caught, or powerful people or public figures would have been caught by now, you have to remember, people have the same reverence for them as you do. So even if they were doing something wrong, there are many people who are employed by them, so they're not going to talk. Nope. There are many people who are getting some type of benefit off of them or want to be close to them. So they're not going to talk. So it's more likely that a rich, powerful person will not be told on before a broke person is. The broke molester will get caught quick. The ugly molester will get caught quick. It's the same thing with women. A pretty woman doesn't have the same issue when she gets up on the stand in a court case that she did something wrong as an ugly woman. They always convict that ugly bitch.
Yeah.
The pretty one is the one that get off. Go ahead.
Just like in that movie, if I'm a 15-year-old kid, I'm out, you know, my parents have let me go and live in this mansion with these rich dudes. I got any and everything I want. I got a personal chef who cooks all day long. I can lay out by the swimming pool. And then Bryan Singer is at this house. Dude just directed fucking Transformers, just directed fucking X-Men, and I aspire to be an actor. I want my shot and my chance. And my manager tells me, yeah, you know, Bryan Singer's coming over today, and he saw a picture of you, and he really likes you, man. You know, maybe you get to meet him and things go right. Might be something for you. You know, he's starting X-Men 3 in like 2 weeks. You know, so if you're gonna get in, you better get in now. You know, as a child, as a young adult, as a person who is thirsty to make it, why am I gonna not pass up that shot?
And
because there's nobody telling me.
And
go ahead.
Your parents trusted this person. That's how they get in. Because you drop your kid off. Your kid now knows you must trust this person because you don't drop me off with everybody. So you drop me off with Bryan Singer. Well, they told me that we were going to be in X-Men 3 or 4. But when I looked at the script, before the X, it was 2 more letters.
Triple
S-E. No, it was S-E.
Yes. Sex me. I thought you said 2 X's.
Oh, I like yours too, though. It was 2 more X's.
I'm a triple X. Yeah, that's what I'm in there. Triple X man.
Script.
Oh, this is gonna be high.
It's gonna be 3 times better than the first. That's what they should have said. Yeah. Instead of X2, it should have been XX and then XXX.
He was like, well, the other one was called X2, so this will be X3. Yeah, okay. What I gotta do?
But
You know?
but you got to think about it. If your parents drop you off at this person's house, and then I worked with Tyrese Gibson, and I worked with, and he just naming everybody you want to work with.
Yeah.
And then he grab your dick like you Terry Crews, and he telling you this is how the business works, because they always do that. And then we talked about the intimacy part, but I want to talk about the threat part. Because see, a lot of people who talked about Brian Singer, they said that they threatened those boys' lives and careers. And many of those women who
that's it. Right? I was just about to say it. So it's like you sitting there with Brian Singer. He not only tells you who he's working with, he called Tyrese on the phone on speaker. Hey, what's up, Tyrese? Hey, what's going on, Brian? Hey, man, just checking, make sure we're gonna be on set, man, in a couple of weeks, man. Yeah. Hey, I got one of the new guys that's gonna be working with us, man. His name is whatever. Say hi to him. Hey, what's up, young fella? How you doing, man? Be glad to work with you, man. All right, we'll catch you in a couple of weeks, man. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. He just vouched for and validated this dude. He's showing you who he is. He's not just telling you, he's showing you. He's showing you this, and then for that same person to go and tell you everybody's doing it, and if you don't want to do it, that's fine, but you ain't gonna go nowhere. Your career is gonna be shit. Better yet, I can guarantee it that you ain't gonna get no parts. I know everybody. I'm connected with everybody. Everybody knows me. Everybody wants to be in my movies. I make $100 million movie every year. People want and watch me and do whatever it is I say. I'm one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. And if you don't do this, if you're not with us, you might as well go back home. And what is a 15-year-old kid? What do you think a 15-year-old kid's going to do? Hell, it's some 50-year-old motherfuckers that'll be like, you know what, Brian? Don't tell nobody.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you keep this shit under wraps, I'm trying to get this movie.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to show you.
What do you think?
And they'll do this. There's several, as you saw when you came into the audition, there was hundreds of kids just like you who wanted this job. What are you willing to do to stand out? Yep.
How far are you willing to go? Because I need somebody that's willing to go to where nobody else has gone before. Mm-hmm. What's the dude? Shia LaBeouf. You want to be the next Shia LaBeouf, then you got to be willing to stand out. You got to be better than him. You got to go further than he went if you want to beat him. You want to be the next Tom Cruise? What are you willing to do to be the next Tom Cruise? You got that kind of pressure on a kid. There ain't no way in the world you can expect a kid to make the right decision in that situation, because a kid has nothing. That kid has nothing but his wants, his dreams, and his desires. That's it. And if you're the person dangling the keys to all that shit, because you just got out of his fucking Ferrari F50 or 150, whatever the fuck you call it. I ain't got one yet.
I don't know my way around Ferrari. Nigga, you know what above my pay grade. I tuned your ass out. Nah, he ain't talking to me.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I got the keys to that. You just drove my Ferrari earlier today. I'm buying your brand. I'm believing in you. I'm rolling with that. Because I don't have it, I don't have access to it, and I don't see any other way to get access to it but through this door. And you telling me that everybody's done it and everybody's doing it, and you got all this stuff, why wouldn't I believe you at 15, 14?
The threats. And I know, guys, we're still having the conversation about it, but I just want to enter as much as I can about this subject. The threats. What would you tell a parent how to deal with a child who may possibly be being threatened? There are teachers who've said to, and the thing about a child, you got to understand how a child processes information. If I'm 12 years old and you tell me you're going to kill my mom and dad, what do I know my mom and dad do? Well, I don't have a job. What do my mom and dad do? They take me back and forth to school. They take me back and forth to practice. They cook. They clean. I don't do shit but be a kid and make sure I make my grades. Now, if you kill my kid, I don't watch enough motherfucking Saturday afternoon fucking special. I done seen enough of them damn things. The more you know, nigga. The more you know. The more you know. Well, I know. I done seen them damn specials
Right.
where they take them kids out of the house and put them in foster care. And I know what they're doing in foster care. Fosters is not Australian for beer. It's fucking American for getting fucked over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you sit back and you say, that kid, anybody can tell that kid, you don't suck my dick, I'm going to kill everybody in your family. That kid believes it. Because remember, we've told them to believe adults.
Yep.
And if an adult say he going to kill somebody in your house if you don't do something, well, they believe it. So there are threats that have happened. One of the young girls I was with told me about how her pastor would threaten her life, her family's life, and her soul, that she would actually go to hell.
Wow.
If she didn't do what the man, and here's what you don't understand. Oh, you do understand what I'm saying to the people. The mom had already put that in the girl's head, that this is the man of God. He's always right. She loves him. She goes every Sunday. She throws his money at him. You got to understand, if you're a woman right now, you watching me and Brian, and every week you come onto the show and you throw us money and you say they're really good people, and you donate, and your daughter or your son is watching you, and you're like, they're so good, I'm going to give them $1,000, which I wish you did, and you can go and click that donate button.
They ain't going to do that. I dare one of y'all to give me $1,000. I dare you.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all ain't going to do that. Y'all ain't going to do that.
You know,
Chill.
It could happen. It would be nice. There's 591 people in there. We'd never get $591. I mean,
yeah, no, I don't know.
But
not these people. They would never do that.
But
I dare you. Prove me wrong.
But what happens is, she did it because she felt like they're going to destroy my family and they're going to fuck my soul up. So she got fucked by her pastor from 15 to 17.
Man.
In the pastor's office, and she said he did it the same way every time. He'd put rosary beads in her hands and fuck her from the back over his desk. Make her stare into the picture of Jesus.
Wow. Yeah, man.
And what happens is it becomes, you do it to a kid. The kids have a better coping mechanism than adults. You know that, right? Kids cope with traumatic situations better than adults do. You ever been to a funeral and you see the kids running around in the graves and jumping over them, and
Yeah.
while the adults are crying and shit?
Yep.
Kids, you ever seen a kid with cancer? I grew up with a girl named Jenny. Her name was what was Jenny's last name? God, I hate that I forgot this little girl's name. We were in first grade. Her name was Jenny. I thought I would never forget her name my whole life. But apparently, when you get old, you forget shit. But she had cystic fibrosis. We were in the first grade. Well, no, we were in kindergarten. Sorry. She died before we got to first grade.
Wow.
She knew she was going to die. Do you know she got up in front of the class and tried to tell us about her fighting cystic fibrosis, to the point of where the little girl was so cute. What was her name? Jenny? I cannot remember her name because I would like for people to go Google her. I'm pretty sure her information was out there because I think her parents did a lot of great things over the last few years. But I remember her getting in front of the class and telling us about this, and she was trying to explain to us cystic fibrosis, and we're children. We can't say that shit. Hell, I'm 40 and I still can't say it. Barely can. So she said, for those who can't say it, just say 65 roses. So
Wow.
she was and she was bald sometimes, and she'd have shit on her, and she'd miss weeks of school, but she'd try to come back in. Her parents tried to make her life as normal as possible. But it's like she didn't even act like a person that was dying. She's a kid. Kids, I grew up poor. We had roaches in the house and everything. You know, I didn't know we were poor until I grew up. I didn't understand that's not good. No, motherfuckers was selling dope right in front of us. I remember little niggas would tell me, "Hey, you wanna make $20?" Hell yeah, what I gotta do? Take this package of that. I'd run that motherfucker up there quick for $20. Hell yeah. Now I'm up here moving packages for $20, thinking I'm paid. Going to school and buy all kind of now ladies and shit. Pussy nigga, check out your boy. I got fuck that. I play Gallagher all day.
He said, nigga, I ain't
even looking at the screen. I'm looking at you and pressing the button.
That little ray will come out. You get that double ship and come back.
Yeah, man.
Ass, then you get that double.
Right. I got 2 guns, nigga. Now what's up? I'm gonna be on this bitch all day.
Nigga, I got that double ship, nigga.
All right, so you sit there, you look, and you say, okay, I was willing to move packages for $20. $20.
Yeah.
What else do you think them old men probably could have got a broke kid to do?
Right.
And what do you think probably some of them perverts who were drug dealers back then did?
Yep.
Your child.
Yeah.
Everything is bigger to a child. Motherfucker was 5'5", was a giant to a 6, 7, 8-year-old. And nigga tall as fuck.
Yeah.
Backseat of the car was huge. It's all kind of room back here, nigga.
It's like a couch.
Right. So, to a child, everything is a pressing issue too. And if you can tell that child, well, I'm about to do some shit to you, it's probably gonna feel uncomfortable, but it's $100 to make you feel better. That kid ain't never seen nobody give them $100.
$100, yeah. That's all you gonna think about. You gonna be like, man, I'm getting this $100. You gonna be spending that money in your mind while that dude doing whatever he doing. And I just want to give a shout out to Rachel Anderson for donating. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Fuck y'all. Nah, it's a bullshit. My shit is real. My shit is real dry. It's all right though. But when you look at that, and I still remember one of the girls I dated said that her uncles and nephews used to just give her shit when they would get through fucking her. So she enjoyed it. She would get a doll, or she'd get a little bit of money here, or they get a necklace or a bracelet. And so she didn't think, she's like, if I just suck their dick or let them eat my pussy or fuck them, it didn't seem like it was a bad. And she said, especially once I got used to it and it started to, I could like orgasm from it. It was not a big deal, even though these were my relatives, is what she said. And she said the only time she thought it was a problem, she realized it was a problem, was when her and her friends were at school talking about how to get some gifts. And she said she looked at her friends because she thought it was normal and told them, well, why don't you just do this?
Wow.
And she said they looked at her like she was an alien and then said, ew. And she said that was the first time she realized that it was a problem. And she was 13 at that time.
Wow.
13.
Damn. Yeah, that's my thing, man. It's like people can say whatever, and I'm not one to let the predator or the pedophile, whatever you want to call him, off the hook. I'm not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you have to be willing as a parent. You got to be there, man. You have to be there. And I'm not saying that it's 100% guaranteed. As long as you in place, then ain't nothing gonna happen. But at the end of the day, your job should be to give your child the best possible odds of winning, the best possible odds of being safe. And what better odds is that unless you the fucking creeper yourself, mother or father, like whichever one. But if you're not, then who else is gonna better take care of your seed than you? And for you to think that the school will, the coach will, or just as good as an auntie or uncle or cousin will, then you are a fool. It's just that simple, because you have to be there for your kid, man. Especially for those of you that it happened to, you should even be more on alert. And for those who it didn't happen to at all, you should be on more alert to make sure that it don't happen. Stop letting your kids be around these other people and you not there. Like you talking about a coach. A coach shouldn't have an opportunity, because you should be at every game.
Yep.
You should be at every practice. You should be at the playoff game, at the night game. And if you can't be, then your kid don't need to be going.
Because
your kid don't need to be there that late or that weekend away where it's just that.
That's just the thing I got to go to. There was some coaches who would say, look, when we coaching basketball, I can't let the parents sit in here because, number one, it throws the kid off because they're trying to get, to learn these plays. And then you're trying to tell me what I can and can't say to your kid in the process, so you're hindering my coaching. So I'll give them that sanctuary of in the gym. Here's where I stop. Practice is over. We get to walk at the end of practice, and I know there was a lot of white parents used to do that when I was in high school. In the practice, they walk their punk ass up in there. Two, a lot of the parents will tell their kids, well, you can shower when we get home. You don't need to shower here at the gym.
Yep.
Because they felt like, well, the coach will be back there with y'all, and I can't be. And I'm not saying that the coach is a pedophile or nothing, but I'm just saying, let's just make it to where it's not as easy and we're not being negligent.
If your presence is felt and you around, that coach is less likely to try it. When that coach know every Saturday, I know that Brian Jr.'s daddy is gonna be waiting right outside the locker room, and he know that if it's 8 minutes past the time that practice is over, he give his son 8 minutes to shower, and he know if something, he coming in there. He knocking on the door. He talking to his son. He asking where the coach is. He asking where you at. There's no alone time. That's the thing. You don't let your kid say, oh, well, coach is going to drop him off. That's alone time.
Because when we used to go to
coach, he gonna stay at coach house for the night because they got to get up super early in the morning, so it don't make sense for coach to have to come and drive. No, it do make sense for coach to have to drive his ass unless you drive your kid. It makes perfect sense, because you don't want your kid sleeping at another dude's house or at another chick's house. You don't want that to happen. It's not that every coach is a pedophile, and it might be coaches that take offense to that. I do a lot for these damn kids. Then, hey, man, it is what it is. You shouldn't want to put yourself in a position to where you alone with them kids.
Like with me and people's wives. I don't go around people's wives like that. I don't give a fuck how cool you think we are. No. Because I might fuck your wife. I could be vulnerable. She could be vulnerable. We don't need to do that. Let's all, we commune together. When I go, when I go and pick up my daughter, her mom is married. When I walk to that door, guess who I speak to first? Him. Guess who I mostly speak to? Him. Out of fucking respect for that man in that house.
Yep.
I'm not one of these young kids who, like you said, I always think, because the first thing these young new age niggas do is, nigga, I fucked your bitch, nigga. Like, I'm not even thinking that. We're parents to this kid. Grow up. But now it's all about dumb shit. And then I look at it, when we were in high school, we kept going, we would go to basketball camps. And the basketball camp would be in Tennessee, the basketball camp would be in Florida, the basketball camp would be in Alabama or South Georgia. And these were far away, and they would keep us there for a week. And it'd be us, the children, who get in a bus and ride with the coaches. Now, the coaches got us in places we've never been. We all sleeping in the same quarters. We all showering in the same quarters. And you just Sent your kid off because you want your kid to be better at basketball. He come back better at sucking dick. Like, you don't want that, and that's what could happen because you just didn't say. And I think the peer pressure on parents, because, again, we're talking about if they should be held responsible. Parents have a lot of peer pressure. What do you do when your kid says, please, dad, this could be my big opportunity, and you're trying to ruin it? And then you feel like this person is saying, and then there'll be another parent, oh, come on, Brian. I sent my kid to them there last summer. Had a great time with them. Nothing happened, and you know me, I love my kid. You can send your kid up there. And so now you're under pressure from your kid, the coach, and another one of the parents who is telling you you're being overprotective. And one of the things that we worry about as parents is, are we being overprotective? So the child molester now can speak to you and get you, a grown-ass person, to acquiesce to peer pressure. Think about that dude. You remember when you said if they can't do it around you, then it gives them pause. Like if they don't have carte blanche to do it, it gives them pause. But remember what that guy was doing on that movie that I showed? He was doing it in front of the entire family. He was there every day with the entire family. A lot of times they use that shit against you, saying, you ever heard the phrase hidden in plain sight? The greatest trick that the devil played on the world was to convince him that he didn't exist.
Didn't exist.
Kaiser Sose was just walking around right in front of it. It's always been that way. Like it's right there. That's the best place to hide it. Right there. I think what a lot of these pedophiles of teenagers do is they pit the kid against the parent. And what would happen in that situation that I was just talking about was that kid is sitting there saying, please, Brian, or Dad, please. So your kid is telling you, please. You said, no, I don't feel comfortable with this. You just became your kid's enemy. And then the coach just sit up there and sided with your kid. So people do it every year. So now, if you say no, you've created an enemy out of your kid because your kid knows there's another adult trying to convince you. You remember when we used to do it when we were young, talking about go spend the night over somebody, and you say, get your mom to call my mom and say that it's okay. Because we know if the mom would put peer pressure on the other mom.
Yep.
When you have a mom and a dad in the house, you go ask the other motherfucker who you know might say, okay, you can have them cookies. You go ask them first. Because you know they're going to have to sell it when the other parent comes down and say, what you doing with cookies? Daddy gave them to me. Well, they're going to be arguing.
Yep. And then you have some adults that'll even take it a step further and will make the parent be the bad guy. Say, hey, man, I've been coaching for 15 years, man. I don't know why your dad wouldn't let you go with us on this basketball trip. I'm just trying to help you, be better. I know you and your friends are going to be there. Everybody's going to go on the team. I don't know why they would make you not be able to have fun with your teammates and go on this trip. And it's like that leads back to even the point that we always make. That's why you should have two parents in the household. That's why it's good to be in a two-parent household, because now one of the parents can go on that trip. One of the parents will. Yeah, you ain't got to sleep in the room with all of them, because you go sleep in the hotel room with me that I just booked. That's where your ass gonna be. So yeah, we'll be at the game in the morning. Come knock on our door. We're in room 104. We'll be there, and let us know when y'all getting up. We head on down with the rest of y'all. Go to breakfast, whatever we gonna do, because I'm gonna be right there.
Because I tell
at the end of the day, and it's like that is what thank you Danielle Harris for the donation too. But that is what I mean by just having that teamwork, having that team in place to where you guys can both say, hey, we want to do this for our kid. I get that. We want our kid to be happy. We want our kid to be successful. We want them to have all of the tutelage and the training that they can possibly get. But to what expense? To what end are we willing to do that? Are we willing to sacrifice their sexuality? Are we willing to sacrifice their moral compass? Are we willing to put in their mind that it's okay to do anything, do whatever it takes to get that check? Whether it's selling your ass, selling your body, doing drugs, popping pills, jacking off a 65-year-old dude or sucking off a 72-year-old man that can give you a job or a contract or a commercial. Is it worth that? That's the thing that you're teaching your kid, which is why those kids, so many of them that we will never know their names, wind up on the corner as a male prostitute, high off of whatever, and don't know who they was with last, and or that young girl that's gonna wind up, drunk walking down the street, hopping in and out of cars, or getting pimped out by some other dude, or whatever the case may be. Because it's always gonna be that part that's gonna say, well, the person who can protect this person is my daddy, is my mama.
And it's a touchy situation to me. But I'm going to give my final analysis, not final analysis, but I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts on that. I do believe wholeheartedly that if you introduce someone to your kid's life and that person violates your kid, the circumstances in which that person violated your kid will dictate if you are charged. That's how I would view it. The circumstances at which that person violated your kid, i.e., you moved your boyfriend into the house. Your boyfriend did that to your son or daughter. You are being held liable because you moved that person in your house. So it is your job to properly vet them. Remember, people right now are trying to sue the hotel in Las Vegas because they believe it's the hotel's fault that they didn't properly vet the people who were coming in. And then it came out that one of the bellhops who've come out now and said, hey, I'm the one who helped him carry all that shit up. They said, the bellhop said, we used the service elevator to do it. He had so much stuff. But because he was a VIP, they let him do it. He was a high roller. You remember he said he would spend $1 million every time he would come there.
Yep.
They said because he was a VIP, that was a normal perk of the VIP, that you don't have to go through the regular elevators to go up to your room. You get to use the service elevator. Yeah. So if you bringing in some shady shit, you a VIP. Again, money goes a long way to be able to allow people to do fuck shit.
That's right.
You think about it. When President Trump said he was able to grab women by their pussy because he's a celebrity, he wasn't lying. A regular dude just say the word pussy in front of a woman, there's a problem. You think Lil Wayne would have a problem saying something like the black girl who got that coach in trouble? You know that black bitch called me a sellout today? Do you know she's currently pregnant with that old ass white man's baby?
Who is this?
The black girl who released the video of the white coach sniffing lines. You see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Dolphins coach making $3 million a year. The offensive line coach, I didn't even know they pay no motherfucker like that. $3 million a year.
Damn.
He was fucking a black hole. And I guess he fell in love with the pussy. She gave him sunshine. He fell in love with the pussy. Yeah, so he was like, every time I think of you, I sniff cocaine. Oh, he didn't call it cocaine. Every time I think of you, I do this. Filmed himself sniffing it. Then he sent this bitch the stuff. The video. Like an idiot. So the black bitch released it and got him fired immediately. But she admitted today that she pregnant by this nigga. So she talking all this shit about him, ruined his career, and got pregnant by him in the process so she could take what little bit of money he got. Baby. But I'm the sellout. Now this woman's a hoe to the point of where 2 of her baby's daddies have come out. So the bitch got several kids, but she's a Las Vegas actual prostitute. She's got records right now in like Kansas and other places where she's wanted by the law.
Wow.
But she was able to call me a sellout. And I still try to stop back and I think, how was this old white man able to fuck her raw anyway? Well, first off, the old white man should have been smart enough not to fuck a actual prostitute raw. I can see how the old man got fooled by young pussy, because that's what happens. We get old young pussy. Young bitches can get us. Old bitch, you can't get me, old bitch. But the young girls, they can get us. I've been got. So I can't fault him, but to a certain, but that's sending the video out. But here's the problem. Like my man David Kelly just said, she's in Vegas. She's deciding to screw up this man's life. But in Vegas, you have a lot of children in Vegas walking around. I've taken my daughter to Vegas. While they're in Vegas, they get to see billboards and trucks drive by and everything. And what's on these billboards and on the trucks and shit? Literally advertising hookers.
Yeah.
Because it's legal. Now, I'm not against rap. I'm not against rappers.
It's rappers.
No, but I'm not against prostitution. I think prostitution should be legal.
Yeah.
But we do have to understand, what do your kids think when they are exposed to random sex like that?
Yep.
Sex that doesn't mean anything. Because right now we're bombarding our children with sex that doesn't mean anything. They're not getting sex that means something. They're getting sex that doesn't mean anything. So they're being taught that. And like you said, the boys are being taught fuck somebody else's girlfriend.
Yep.
The men are being taught family doesn't mean shit. How many hoes you get, that's what's most important.
That's what matters, right?
Mm-hmm. We're not building anything. When's the last time you've seen somebody build like a legacy? I'm not even trying to be funny. I don't have anybody in my family that built a legacy.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I guess to me, holding the parents responsible, because I just feel that there's some people that are going to say, well, you can't fault the parents for that. They trust in these people and all that. What you said about moving in the boyfriend, the stepdaddy, and you know you have a teenage daughter at the house, you are subjecting them to that. And it's like, that's the thing that hit home to me, because you hear that so many times. It's so common. You got a single mother, she ain't with the daddy no more, or the daddy in jail, or the daddy got killed, whatever the case may be, they ain't together. And now she meet this other dude because she's much older in life now, and she's on almost at halftime, and she sees that I ain't getting no younger and I ain't getting no finer. So I need to try to, get me somebody that's going to be stable. And you move in this dude, he treat me nice and we get along, but you got a 14-year-old daughter or a 17-year-old daughter. What do you think that dude is going to do? Yeah, he might like fucking you, but why wouldn't he think about or even look at or see her too in that way? That's not his daughter. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's just him and his thinking. Now let's take it a step further, and let's just say that this 17-year-old girl is sexually aware. She knows she fine. She knows she got titties and ass. That's why she wears the short shorts. That's why she accidentally forgets to grab her towel out the bathroom and goes to her room and let this dude catch a glimpse of her with her little panties on and her bra. How many times do you think that those instances happen to where not necessarily this dude is going to jump on her and rape her, but to where he even has the thought, to where that thought even begins to provoke his mind to look at that young girl in that light? He catches her twerking to a video. He catches her with her friends dancing to the videos at the computer because he come home from work and this is what he see. Or you working nights, he working days, and y'all like ships passing in the night. But she there. So what do you think that eventually is going to naturally take place? He may not sleep with her, but he's definitely going to think about it. And most of the shit that happens like that, it starts with a thought. It starts with a situation. She come in the bathroom and she didn't think to knock because she on her phone, or she did think to not knock because she wanted to bust in there and see him because she ain't never seen no grown man dick before. It's like those are the things that you see that will happen, and you think that, oh well, he shouldn't do that. Oh well, he should. That's not his daughter, but yet and still he's around her every day, and it's like that for him not to have that thought. That's asking somebody to not be human in that instance.
Why is it that people don't understand when I say that? Like, I don't understand. Look, let me tell you the first rule of parenting for me, and you tell me if you agree, and then maybe you can explain to them why they don't get what you just said, why so many people think that that's an odd way of thinking. First off, first rule of parenting, trust no one with your children. Agree or disagree?
I totally agree.
I don't trust you. I don't. Don't tell me I should trust you because you my brother, because you my cousin. You my brother and you done did some fucked up shit to me. You done robbed me. You done robbed other people in the family. Look, y'all want to hang out with my kid while they at the house? I'll bring them over to the house, have some beer, let them run around with your kids. You don't have no kids and you want to come pick up my daughter? No.
Nope.
My daughter's mom and I had that argument. I tell the story all the time. Me and her cousin, me and him cooled than a motherfucker. I took him and his fiance out to dinner. They pregnant again because I feel so bad for them. They lost their first baby. But he was 25 when he used to come pick up my daughter when she was 5. And I went to go, and I didn't know this was happening. So I went one weekend to go pick up my daughter because me and my daughter were going to go watch a movie. She said, "Oh, she's with Kurt." I said, "She's with Kurt?" "Yeah, he just came and picked her up. He wanted to hang out with her." Why a 25-year-old want to hang out with a 5-year-old? Now, I know that it could literally just be innocent because I have some people just like children. I enjoy them, but I don't enjoy them by myself because they too much. If that makes any sense. Like, kids are fun when I can give them back to you. When the bell ring and the class is over or something like that. Kids, I can tolerate them kind of like.
You need a time on.
Yes. Kids to me are like caramel. Caramel is good, but I never finish whatever the fuck you put caramel on because it's too much. I never seen a nigga just eat all the caramel. I'm like, that shit too sweet, nigga. You know what I mean? Like, it's some stuff you order, but you never eat the whole of it. But you order it because you like it, but you've never eaten the whole of it. Caramel is one of those things. You can put caramel on something. I'll eat it. Then it'll start to taste nasty. Shit's too sweet. Same thing with syrup. I watch people drown pancakes and shit with syrup. I'm like, God, this shit nasty. Right. So that to me is like kids. I can tolerate them, but for such a certain amount of time. So maybe he was whatever, and he's proven himself to be an all right dude. But here's the thing you don't know about anybody. My brothers don't know about some shit I've done in life. My mom don't know about some shit I've done in life. My girl don't know about some shit I've done in life.
Yep.
So everybody got skeletons in their damn closet, and everybody got proclivities that they don't want other people to know. What happens when one of those proclivities is molestation and rape of underage people? Do you subject your kid to that? And I'll go back to what you pose. Why do you think so many people have a problem with the fact that we can view the world from the criminal's aspect? Because to me, the best way to get to be safe from a criminal is to think like a criminal. And I would be an idiot to not acknowledge, like you said, human nature would be, my daughter's stepdad will not give a shit that he was married to her mom if she grow up and be fine like her mom used to be. If she walk around the house with Hello Kitty shirt on and ass, booty meat hanging out the bottom of her little shorts. We're saying to him, you shouldn't think like that, even though you see it. It's the equivalent of saying, yes, I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking up a whole bunch of good shit, and you smell it all through the house. You shouldn't want to eat this food, though, because, well, you're vegan.
Right.
Just because a motherfucker's a vegan don't mean they don't smell it and be like, that smells actually pretty good. Now, they might not eat it.
Bacon smell good as hell.
Right. I won't eat the steak because I am a vegan. But to act like I can't acknowledge that steak doesn't look good or smell good is stupid. Why is it, though, that there are so many people out there that want that not only that you don't touch the kids, but you don't acknowledge that the kid is grown up?
I think that we have taken on the idea of where we don't want to be damning or condemn somebody or think that somebody is a bad person. We want to try to assume the best in people, or we don't want to acknowledge the treachery that some people may have, or the shittiness about people. We don't want to acknowledge it. However, what I think that the problem comes into, because a lot of people may think, oh, but that's thinking negative. You can't always be negative or have a negative outlook on people. And even those people that are into that lifestyle may have that treachery about them. They may want to paint that picture. Don't judge me. Don't make me out to be the bad guy. You always think negative of me. At the end of the day, you have to sometimes take the bad things of people, and you have to see past it. And what I mean by that is that cousin that you have that is a child molester, that's a treacherous thing. That's a bad thing. You don't want that person around your child. That person is not a good person. That is a damaged person. See past it, though, by saying, well, maybe this person is a child molester because he was molested. She was molested. Maybe that's why she does what she does. So it's not necessarily their fault that that's who they are, but that is who they are. And for you to not acknowledge that, you're now putting your child in a bad situation because you're trying to see the good in them. Well, I hope that they'll be good enough to where they can overcome this traumatic thing that happened to them in their childhood or them being raped. I hope that they won't turn out to be a rapist. It's like those are the things that you have to see past that to say, well, maybe they're wired this way, or they've been changed to this type of person because of something that has happened to them. You think about, even from a bullying perspective, most kids that are bullies have been bullied. And when you think about that kid that bullied you, I'm quite sure that either that kid's brother may have bullied him, or that kid's sister may have bullied him. And that's the type of behavior that he's learned to be a predator in that sense of bullying, by saying, I'm going to pick on those that are weaker than me because people that are stronger than me pick on me. So it's not that person, you're excusing it, but now that you understand what you're dealing with,
yep,
now you can adjust yourself accordingly. That's why I always bring up the analogy of going to the zoo and looking at a tiger as opposed to stepping in the cage with a tiger. Because if you step into a cage with a goddamn tiger and that tiger rips you to fucking shreds, you should not die with a look of surprise on your face. You shouldn't. You should die just like this.
Yeah, or fighting.
I do better. It's a fucking tiger.
You should be in that bitch fighting, and you just lost.
Exactly. Once you know what you're and that's the thing about us, we have to realize that once we know what we're dealing with, now we are able to process it and adjust ourselves accordingly. So once I know that my child is my responsibility and I need to protect my child, and not that everybody is a molester, not that everybody is a pedophile, but I need to have the mindset of assuming that this person that wants to be alone with my child, or could be alone with my child, or may at some point be alone with my child, may do something to my child. So I either need to be there, or I need to not let my child be there. It's that simple. If you can't be there, then maybe you shouldn't let your child be there, because your child may not know what to do. Your child may not know how to react. Your child may not know what to say. So it's like, don't put your child in a situation that they're not prepared for because you're not there. At the end of the day, it's just like when I try to tell, women all the time, and you even said this, don't never go to a nigga's house or be alone with a man that you ain't trying to fuck, or you're not willing to fuck, or you don't want to fuck. And that's just like with young girls. Don't be alone with no man nowhere. Because at the end of the day, you don't ever want yourself to be in a situation to where you can get raped. Because if you gonna get raped, it's gonna be where you alone in a room with this dude or some dudes.
Amen.
So it's like, don't put yourself in that situation. You go out with a dude for dinner. Okay, you go out with the dude for dinner. He tell you to come up to his hotel room like the dude Weinstein. I'm gonna take a shower. The fuck you need me to come watch you or be in a room with you while you take a shower? The fuck is that? It's like, at the end of the day, that's a decision that you don't need to make. I would not go to a room with another dude while he goes to shower. Man, you better get the fuck out of my face. I'm gonna be downstairs drinking this wine or whatever it is I'm gonna do, smoking this cigar. That's what I'm gonna be doing.
But I can
now
tell
you
you
can go upstairs and take your fucking shower, but I ain't coming upstairs with your motherfucking ass.
But I can tell you this. This is how it can go left. Cause I've been, but I guess it's your homeboys. But I've been to my homeboys and went up to like say they were like, hey dog, I gotta go to wait a minute, they said my link doesn't work. Oh, I see it working. Let me see. PayPal. My PayPal works. Y'all just make an excuse to not they make an excuse. They tell me I said your PayPal don't work. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit.
He said, yeah, y'all pay your PayPal over time. I would donate to you, so I just went there and donated to Brian.
Oh shit. Okay, whoa. No, Chastity went through. Damn. Chastity.
Test mine, Chastity. Let me see if mine work.
Oh, Chastity hit me. I'm about to eat. I'm about to eat Chastity pussy one day. I'm just gonna. It is gonna be like I'm gonna be one of them kids. Be like, you know, you be all that money I donated you. You got to eat this pussy. I'm about to eat it too. And I'm just gonna eat it all. I'm gonna eat it with a big old smile on my face too. Just eating the shit out of this pussy. Then I'm gonna live stream it. I'm just eating the shit out of Chastity's pussy. I just gotta do it now. At this point, I like if she can't say you gotta eat my pussy, I can't say no. I'm not doing that. I'd be an ass at this point. She be like, you gotta eat it after I went jogging too. I know. You remember you was a kid, you acknowledged what your parents said, but you put your head down. I know. And you didn't clean that room. I know.
She said, I'm a leg lock you too, and you better not back up. You better not. And then me look on the thing. You better not back up.
Man. You better not take no deep breath either. This is all must. Right. You're getting the must. Don't be trying to turn your head, get no fresh air, nigga.
All that money I donated, you better lay down and let me sit on your face.
Hey, God,
you better not turn your head.
Yeah. But you've been working out all week. You ain't took a bath since September. Why are you doing this to me? Shut up and eat it.
Shut up. It cleans itself. It's self-cleaning like a stove. You just shut your mouth and lay down on your back.
Man, you know what? You got me wanting a bitch to talk to me like this now. You ready? I'm up here got myself all excited. I got to find me a bitch to talk like this. I be up here like Tony Braxton. So I got to find me a bitch to force me to eat.
Oh. Be serious to the motherfucker. Now lay down on your back. You better not move.
I think I need somebody to talk to me like this. I think I might need this just once. You know, I pull a James Ingram just once. Would you force me to eat your pussy raw? Suck it till I have large jaw. Just once.
Oh man, he hit it with the James Ingram. Boy, I tell you. Oh man.
She had me doing the what would you do for the pussy challenge. It's like, what would you do to the pussy?
James Ingram for the pussy.
You know what I'm saying?
I lay on the back for the pussy.
You know what I'm saying? Fucking do the
man.
For the pussy.
Boy, I tell you. Hell no. He said, just once.
but let me go ahead and say it. Maddie Hicks sent me a donation. Thank you, Maddie. That was awesome. So I guess I cried enough to where people finally did it. Mr. Green Apples sent a donation, said, "Tell Brian you got a 2020 twin." So I guess Mr. Green Apples donated to me and you.
2020 twin, nigga. Yeah, buddy. My goodness. Yeah, man. But that whole thing, man, of just being that gatekeeper, man, and being that protector. And it's like when those people see that you around, when they see that your presence is felt, when they know that you don't fuck around, then they are less likely to try. That's why the whole single mother thing, it's like single mothers are more inclined to want that male presence, figure, that male influence, that mentor thing, you know, that you always talk about that you hate. I agree with that shit 100%. That whole mentor thing, and it's like, for me, even when I used to coach Little League baseball, it's like those kids, yeah, they want that male energy and that male attention and stuff, and it's good. You can teach these little boys stuff and show them how to play the game of baseball, teach them about camaraderie. But I ain't never want to be alone with no kid. But I would not be upset that a parent would look at me and say, well, no, I don't want, my kid to go home with you or nothing like that. I wouldn't. If we had a kid that didn't get picked up, we waited at the baseball field with that kid. Right out there like, man, your mama need to come the fuck on. Shit, I got shit to do. We did that. Because we didn't, it was not a thing for us to be or to even have that environment where things like that could even be looked at or thought about. I wouldn't want a parent to even have that thought to where, man, maybe he could have did something, or put myself in that position to where somebody could accuse me.
But have you ever noticed, though?
But that's just the responsibility part of it.
But have you noticed, though, fathers, and first I want to say thank you, Rochelle Anderson. She was in the comment section. She said that she donated. I did get that, Rochelle. You sent it to the Soto Fund Me. Thank you very much for those who donate to the Soto Fund Me, because I get it all. I'm just greedy like that. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. I ain't got to lie to the motherfuckers. Other people lie, not me. Well, okay, I'm not lying about this. I lie about a lot of other shit, but that's not neither here nor there. But the point behind this is guys aren't inclined to really trust people with their children, especially their daughters, like mothers are. If we know men are more protective, why do you think, and I know it's just moving around, but why do you think the government, which is kind of answers itself, but I'd like for you to answer, why do you think the government kind of pushes single motherhood over single fatherhood?
It keeps you from it's like taking the security off. It's like taking the locks off your doors. It's like, taking that dog that you got roaming your yard and putting it on a chain in the back of the house. You know what I'm saying? Even though it might be somewhere around, it can't get to you because it's on the chain or it's gone altogether. It's like that whole thing, the whole concept of the single mother and empowering these mothers to do whatever it is that they want to do. It's such a hoax because it cripples you. It's like the fact that they want you to think that you should be the one that can do whatever you want. You should be the one that can take the lead and what your way is the right way. You're a person too, and what you say matters and it counts, and you can be a leader too. You should be able to lead as well. That mentality, what that does is they're exploiting a weakness. They know that you wanting a position of power and them willing to give you that, it's a false position. It's a false sense of security, a false sense of power that you have. And what it does is it weakens your team, because people with teams are what win. When you think about the idea of a man and a woman being together, they are not just getting together, they are becoming a team. Then when they have children, they are building a team. They are building a nation. They are nation builders. And it takes two to do that. When you get one, then there is a deficit. There is a lack thereof. No matter how strong of a black woman you can be, there is lack there. There are certain things that you don't see. There are certain things that you don't know. There are certain things that you can't handle because it's only one. Two minds are better than one, no matter what you say, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you say, oh, well, I know a lot and I've experienced a lot. My experience has been my mama before me and my mama's mama before. Yep, that's all well and good, but you would have been a better kid. You would have been a better adult had you had both parents. And that goes also to, or doubly so, for the people that you choose to fuck and have kids with. When you have a kid with the right type of father, you have a better child. You have a better life. You have a better team. Plain and simple. It's just that plain and simple. It's just that easy. Don't overcomplicate it. And when you are missing one of those, when you are subtracting one of those or negating one of those or dismissing one of those, you are not just weakening your team, but you're weakening your seed. You are weakening your child. Your child is going to be a weaker man. That little boy that you think you raising into a man, he is a weaker man because he doesn't have his father. Because you chose a shitty father. Because you chose a ain't shit nigga. He is going to be a weaker man. That daughter that you had with that ain't shit bitch is going to be a weaker woman. She is going to be subjected to the bullshit in the streets because she has no strong motherly figure in her life. So you need both. Stop thinking that it's just you and being all bad by yourself and you gonna make it work, because you don't. You do a disservice to your kid that way. Yeah, your kid may not turn out to be the next fucking Unabomber, but he could have been the next president as opposed to the next state rep. And if you don't want that for your kid, then you ain't shit parent.
A lot of these people want their kids to be the next hood fucking the next hood idol. Like they like it when their son is the nigga that they're afraid of. I know a lot of these mothers when I was growing up liked it that their son was a fucking bully. Like people were afraid of him in the neighborhood. That was a plus for them. That's the difference between a man and a woman. Even though a man is glad that his son can whoop ass, and we'll teach our sons to whoop ass, then we will turn around and play Uncle Ben with our kids and tell them, with great power comes great responsibility. We will tell men will tell their kids that. Men will tell their daughters, look, people trying to get your pussy. That's a power. With that power, you better be responsible for it. Do I want you giving out any ass? No, I want you to wait till I'm cold and in the ground. 3 years after my death, give up your virginity. That's if in them 3 years my ghost don't come back and say I'm still looking.
Right.
That's how we as men feel. But we acknowledge that our daughters have what they have, and that especially as they get older, we will acknowledge, and it's hard for us as men because all we see them as our little girls. But I remember when I was young, what used to happen with the men who had daughters was the first time they realized that it ain't their little girl no more is when one of their punk ass friends would say, your little girl growing up. But he had that look on his face. You know that suspect look when he said, your little girl growing up.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
And that's when you start to realize.
You, man, it's like you have that. And I mean, in most, at the end of the day, I understand that, yep, my daughter is one day gonna have sex and she's one day gonna, give it up and she gonna do all kind of nasty shit to her man. At the end of the day, as much as I don't want to accept that and deal with it, I at least want her to do it with somebody that is worth a fuck. Somebody that is going to be able to build a life with her. I just don't, and that's going to be my thing for her. I don't want you to just give what it is that is so precious, such a precious gift, to a motherfucker that ain't worthy. And if we instill that into our daughters more, then they would expect more from men. Then they would, in turn, then men would strive to be better than what they are. It's like it's a cycle, man. And the expectation that you put on your daughters, the expectations that you put on your sons, that shit matters. And it's like, if you don't think that matters because you didn't have it, then what does that really say about you? And that's why there are so many people that shouldn't be parents, because you don't have that type of mentality the way you want more and better for your own seed.
I think there are
How
more of
is
us.
that?
I think there are more of us today who shouldn't be parents than those of us who should be. Like with my daughter, a lot of people say, "Well, why don't you have full custody of your daughter?" I don't think I'm a good parent right now. I think I would teach my daughter too many vulnerabilities than strengths. Because a lot of times we as people who are parents, we think that our kids will make us better. You ever heard that saying, like, a woman will fuck a ain't shit dude, but because she's pregnant now, he's supposed to now become shit. Wait a minute, he wasn't shit when you was fucking him, and you believe that you saying you're pregnant will all of a sudden change this man into a responsible person. Well, it doesn't. So I've at times said, I thought about it. I said, I probably should go ahead and get Alex. And then I was like, you're thinking that if you get her, it will make you more stable. Why would you put that on a kid?
Yep.
The fact that you're thinking having a kid will make you more stable lets you know you shouldn't have that kid is the next thought that came into my mind. The fact that you believe, because it could happen, because when they're here in the summer, I straighten the fuck up, because it's all about them. So I don't do anything stupid. As soon as they left, I did some dumbass shit. But while they were here, so it's like I'm saying, protect me from myself. But at that point, you need to start learning how to protect yourself from yourself before you can ask somebody else. And I think that the majority of us have children and get into relationships to try and fill holes that we have, and we think that these other people will. That's why we don't trust people. That's why we argue. That's why we break up all the time. That's why we beat the shit out of our kids. That's why when they get out of the cute stage to where you can't put them up on the Instagram no more because they ain't two no more. They ain't got their baby hair in the front of their head no more. Now you want to have another one because, well, that one done got old. And there's too many situations where these mothers are doing this, and the predators have that's why I said at the beginning, the predators have an easier time now because there's too many bad parents. When you have this many bad parents, when you have this many people who have kids, not because they give a shit about the kid, they just had it because it was a biological function. Not because they wanted to have a family. It's because they thought the kid would make them feel better.
Yep.
Now, you couple that with the thought that there are molesters. To me, I've always explained it this way. I like vampirism. You molest one of those kids turn out to be a molester and they molest somebody else. It just keeps going. It's a huge cycle. Well, if you have more molested and damaged kids having kids, what do you think you're having after that? It's a fucking smorgasbord of degenerate behavior. And it's getting worse and worse. We're having copies of copies of copies of copies. Like I said, I'm watching these young girls and I'm seeing them. These young girls be having bodies look like they in their 30s and 40s. They eating fuck shit. They've been getting dick down since they were 12. When I was growing up, it was like you could surprise a fucking 18, 19-year-old with some kind of doing certain things with them. You could surprise them. Now, I've never done that. You can't surprise these motherfuckers now. When you see that Kanika Jenkins, who was 19 years old, had pretty much every place on her body pierced. Had already been pregnant at 15. Where is the moral standard? But then your mom got a boyfriend who's a criminal, living up in the house, breaking up with you every now and again, so y'all having in a relationship on Facebook, then you're taking it down, then you're putting it back up. And that old ass man is living around this young ass girl that he know out giving out pussy. And she look better than her mama. Her mama old and got all kind of kids by other niggas, and the daughter is fresh. And you brought that man around your daughter. You let that nigga live in your house. He probably ain't got no job. He there all day while you at work. Your kids get out of school. Kanika come home, this nigga on the couch with his leg cocked open and his tighty whities playing Madden. Like he didn't know she was about to come home. His dick on swole and everything. She walking in, he talking about, oh, I thought you got out at 2:30, not 2:29.
Ooh wee.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. I thought I had one more minute to go back and change. My bad.
I was in the fourth quarter. It was a 2-minute drill. I was trying to win the game, so I'm almost done though.
You know what I'm saying? You know what happens when you get under 2 minutes? You got to run a 2-minute drill. You know, why don't you come over here and let me drill you for 2 minutes? Yep. I see if I can score.
And you know, it's like my thing is this: is like the things that go on like that. When you have one mind, that's the authority figure. When you have that one mind that's making all of the decisions, that's deciding who does what happens to this and what goes there. When it's only one person doing that, then that person starts to believe that they have complete autonomy, so they think they doing no wrong. And if something does happen to them that is bullshit, that is fucked up, then what they'll say is, well, shit, ain't nobody perfect. I've been doing it all this time and all these years, you know, hey, you know, or it happened to me. Look, I didn't turn out too bad. It's like that's the mentality that you have. And it's like you don't want what is best for your kid. And the reason why you think it's okay is because there isn't another adult to challenge you. There isn't another adult to say, well, wait a minute. What the fuck you mean you gonna let this kid go over here? And you know what the fuck they do. Just like had you been in the house with your baby mom and Alex at that time, and the dude came by, the relative came to pick her up, she wouldn't have left with you being there. Because you would have been like, hell, motherfucker, no, he ain't going now. We can go, but she can't go. If it ain't no we, there ain't no she.
That's why I don't understand how, like, me and my neighbors, when that young white girl came over, and when I met her parents, and I met her on the live, people saw it. And her mom was like, "Oh, where do you live?" I live right here. Oh, we live right there too. They saw it live, and the girl, they were very friendly, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna come over later." Then fuck if they didn't come over. It's about 9 o'clock. They came over, mom, daughter. They got in the swimming pool, swam. Me and the mom sat on the outside of the swimming pool and talked. She let me know that her husband was out of town. He travels. He's some kind of salesman for golf clubs or some shit like that. We sat there. We laughed and giggled, let the kids play for about an hour and a half, something like that. About 11 o'clock, they got their shit and they went home. My thought was, that's how it should be. When I first started, y'all saw that the young girl that was at my house with my daughter, one of my daughter's friends, who else was here with that girl? Her mom. Where did she come from? Atlanta. She was all right with sending her daughter here with my daughter and letting them fly by themselves. I said, nah, I want you here too. One, because I'm probably going to fuck you. But I want you.
And ladies and gentlemen, enters the whore.
You know them kids asleep.
Yeah, you know, you get them handlebar mustache, that longer, like, yeah, kids asleep now.
Kids are asleep.
that barren mustache. Yeah.
Look, the kids are asleep. You know what I say? You can have the guest room. I'll sleep upstairs. You come down real late. Are you okay? You need water or anything? Why are you naked? Oh, this old thing. This old thing.
you got a blanket held up like I got an extra blanket. Did you need it? Oh no, I'm okay. Well, I'll just leave it here. You know what I'm saying? No, I thought you would want the blanket.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the excuse we as men give. The one excuse I always give whenever a woman trying to come in my house and say, "Look, I sleep with no clothes on, bitch. I don't like being in clothes, so I'll sleep with no clothes. We're gonna have to deal with that." But the thing about it is, I don't understand why all parents, if there was a sleepover, it's gonna be parent-kid sleepover.
Yep.
I'm gonna stay there. And we're going to have cocktails and watch TV and let them watch what they watch. But I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Why is it that more parents don't do this? Is it because I think they use the other parents as escapes from their children. So in their mind, those parents want to be babysitters. I get to chill tonight. I get to invite a man over or invite a woman over, whatever it is. I think that's the easiest way for them to get them, because a lot of these parents want to be separated from their kids because they want a break. And that's usually how they get them. Why do you think so many of these parents don't do something as simple as, yeah, we can have a sleepover and all of the parents are going to be there with the children?
Because when you only have, at the end of the day, when you only have one parent, then you got a parent that want to, like you said, they want a break. They stressed out. They tired of dealing with their kid. They tired of nobody having no time for them. Ain't nobody doing nothing for them. Don't nobody care about what they need, and don't nobody care that they don't get to have no adult conversation. So the first opportunity that I get to shrug all of that to the side and put it off, if not for a few hours, but maybe for a day, where I can have some me time, I'm selfish enough to think about that and to think that I deserve that. And I'm going to reward myself by doing that. And I'm not even going to contemplate the safety of my child. I'm not even going to contemplate, because I want to think that, oh, well, I know her. She been good and they've been good. They've been a good, nice neighbors, and they've been good with my kid before. And we know all went to eat together before. I ain't never noticed nothing was wrong with them. At the end of the day, it's not necessarily that there's something wrong with that person. It's the fact that the opportunity is presenting themselves, and you don't know what a person will do in a moment of weakness. You don't know what a person has been through in their life. You don't know what that dude's or that woman's sexual history is. Maybe she like fucking young boys. Maybe she is, she a single mother. She been a single mother. Her husband died 15 years ago, and all she got is her 15-year-old son. But yet and still, he got 4 friends that want to come over and spend the night. So maybe she do find that 50. Maybe she don't find her son attractive, but maybe she do find one of her son's friends attractive.
Think about it. Jerry Sandusky and his son got convicted because his son was doing the same thing Jerry was doing, which was molesting boys. But Jerry never molested his son. There are plenty of men with 16-year-old daughters who will fuck their 16-year-old daughter's friend, but never fuck their 16. They didn't fuck with their own daughter. The thing is, there's no connection with this other child. The only connection with this other child is she looks sexy in her nighttime clothes that she keep walking around in. Because the one thing these little girls like doing, even when they grow up, most of the women I've dated, because they are close to their fathers and they had a good childhood, they're like big ass kids. When they get into bed, they got to put on a robe or what do they call it when they have tops and bottoms? I forgot what that's called. Pajamas. They will get in with their pajamas on like big ass kids. So they've been doing that for a long time. Now imagine if they're doing this and mama's boyfriend is over because mama don't have no husband and mama's boyfriend. You think mama's boyfriend ain't seeing what he see?
Yep. It's natural for him. It's just the natural order of things for you to see that. It's like there should be no situation where you are putting your kid's safety in somebody else's hands and you hoping that they do the right thing when you really don't know them or their history. You don't know what happened. How many of us actually ask other adults, yeah, what was your childhood like? Were you ever molested? You don't ask that type of stuff. You don't say, hey, and then if you do ask it, you can't expect an honest answer.
Wow.
What am I going to do if I tell you, if you ask me, was I molested as a kid? You think I'm going to tell you that my uncle or that my neighbor or that my pastor or that my friend's daddy used to suck my dick? Do you know what that does for me as a man and what it does to my masculinity? You think I'm going to admit that? Yes, well, that did happen to me, but I recovered from that completely. Well, what'd you do? Go to counseling stuff? No. I just got delivered from it. I prayed it away and I don't have those urges anymore. Yeah, okay. You can believe that if you want to, but it's like we don't think that far in advance. We don't think about that. And not to say that I'm expecting everybody to do that, but I do expect you to make sure that you don't put your kid in a situation to where he's not going to be safe, to where he's not going to be protected. Can something happen to him when he walk out the door to go to the mailbox? Abso-fucking-lutely. But the chances of that happening to him and him spending the night at the coach house, him spending the night at the pastor's house, him spending the night at his friend's mama's house, him doing that is more inclined for something to happen to him, for him to be taken advantage of. Because we think it's cool. At the end of the day, even myself, I would have thought it was cool as hell if one of my friends' mama wanted to fuck me. But not realizing then at 13 or 14 years old what that would have done to me psychologically. The type of ramifications that would have come from that, I wouldn't have been able to handle that shit right.
But
I'd have first of all been, I would have had some type of complex. I would have had some type of mental breakdown to where I'm not processing that correctly. Why is my best friend or my other friend's mama sucking my dick? That's not something for a child to have to endure or go through. So it's like, don't put me in that situation to where I'm faced to deal with that or have to make the choice on what to do, because I may not do the right thing.
Well, and that's another angle with this. And thank you guys for joining the show. We're about to wrap this thing up a little bit here. But as far as the parents being held responsible for this, to me, it seems like with just a little bit of, what would be the word I'm looking for? With just a little bit of investigation. Because I love what you said. And I'm bothered now by that because I've never asked that question. To a parent, I guess because I don't leave my daughter with other people like that. But it still would be a good question to ask. What's your childhood like? And like you said, you don't expect to get an honest answer. But I think asking the question would allow you to be able to look in their face and see how they respond to the question.
Read some body language. Yep.
But I think it all boils down to right now, the parents aren't really investigating about their children. But then we're not investigating who we knock up. We don't know much about the people who got pregnant by us or we got pregnant. It happened, they kept it, and we good, and we gonna just figure this thing out. And we hate each other because when you said you was pregnant, I said I didn't want now, and you found out I didn't want one, so you gonna have it to try to fuck up my life. And now look at this kid as a burden, and I hate that kid, and I hate you. You didn't really like that kid because that kid was a means to an end to you. And if it don't end the way you wanted it to, if you thought child support was gonna give you $5,000 and they ended up only giving you $500, how you think that woman gonna treat that kid?
Yep.
So then you turn around and you see that these people aren't even doing the simplest things to just see if their kids are okay. So should they be held responsible? As I stated earlier, the situation in which they were molested to me would dictate. But should there be a responsibility being held? Yes, because I think more people would take being a parent seriously if they knew things could happen to them based upon what their children did. And this is the difference between your kid going out and breaking somebody's window. I don't believe that you should. I believe that the parent should have to pay for the kid breaking somebody else's window, but I don't believe you should go to jail or anything like that. Your kid, it could be just a dumbass on its own. But if something happens to your kid and you were negligent in their watch, yes, I believe that you should be persecuted, prosecuted, and every other cuted.
Yep. I mean, and at the end of the day, you have to look at it like this, because people will argue and say, well, you can't control what a parent does, and that's unconstitutional and all that. Think about this. When you look at a government that is supposed to be in a position to have your best interest at heart, to do what is best for you and your society and the society that you live in, if they're supposed to be the governors of society, of what is right and what is wrong, what is morally right and all that good stuff, and they're supposed to govern this way of society by using laws and policies. If you look at that, then why is it that your government doesn't set you up for success when it comes to parenting? Why isn't there a parenting class taught? Why isn't there? Have you noticed that home ec got taken out of schools?
Home ec got
because
taken
they don't
out.
want you cooking.
Home ec was taken out.
They take
wood shop was taken out. So
wood
you can't
shop.
build.
They don't want you making shit. They don't want you to create anything. They want you to depend on industry, big companies, and they want you to depend on the government. That's what they want you to do. They want you to have to trust and depend on them. They don't want you to do anything for yourself. That's why they don't even teach you financial responsibility. You know how I learned about being financially responsible is by going bankrupt.
Hold on.
I learned by fucking up and losing it all.
Give me 1 second. Jason Gunn, you my dude now. You cool with me. I never said on any one of my shows that I've been molested multiple times. And I damn sure ain't never said that my aunt molested me. Now, I don't know who taught y'all to just go in there and just start writing shit because you want to write it. But do me a favor. When you write something that serious, make sure your motherfucking ass is correct on it while you writing, putting shit out in the world. I'm sick of niggas just openly just writing shit about other people. That's bull crap. Don't sit up there and talk about my damn aunt like that when that has never came out of my fucking mouth, and you've never heard me say I've been molested multiple damn times. Stop. I'm not going to ask you motherfuckers again. Talk about your own self. Stop sitting up there regurgitating what you think I said and being wrong. If you're going to quote me correctly. The girl was 21 and I was 10. I don't care that you said my bad, Jason. The point is, you said something that was incorrect and said it like it was true. You don't talk about my fucking family like that, and I don't give a fuck that you just said my bad. That shit ain't cool. You want nobody talking about you? What if I sit up here and said, yeah, Jason said he only fucked his daughter once. Oh, I thought that's what you said. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. That made me mad. You don't do no shit like that. And then say, oh, I said my bad. Who you think gonna see the, oh, I said my bad after you wrote that shit? I don't give a fuck that you said my bad, bro. Stop telling me that you said my bad. Motherfuckers need to say, okay, I'm getting told because I should be telling you to fuck off. You talking about my fucking family in that disgusting ass way. You don't sit up there and put no shit out there like that and think it's cool. Fuck yo, my bad. Shut the fuck up and just let me go off because you said something inappropriate. Say my bad fucking again and you can get the fuck out. I don't give a shit who you are. You don't say no fucked up shit like that and think I'm supposed to just be like, oh, well, he just got it wrong. Motherfuckers need to learn how to be damn my bad. Fuck saying my bad over and over again like I'm supposed to shut the fuck up because you said my bad. My bad. And that's I'm supposed to shut the fuck up because you too stupid to not say nothing that fucked up about somebody that ain't true. Tommy said his aunt molested him. Where the fuck you hear that at? What show you heard that at? Give a fuck if you gave me $1 million. I don't give a fuck if you were my best fucking friend. I don't give a fuck if you was my daddy. When you say some fucked up shit like that and somebody tell you it's fucked up, be apologetic and move the fuck on. Don't tell that person they shouldn't be mad. Stupid motherfuckers. Don't piss me off saying some shit like that. And you can't even tell me where you thought you heard that at. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
There's always some niggas ruining your damn mind, my night. What the fuck would even make that person say that? Where did you hear this at? And then put it on me. Tommy said.
Yeah, man. But with just the whole like I said, the financial responsibility thing, that's something that's just not taught in schools. And you talking about schools is where, most of us get the greater majority of our programming from at the end of the day. And it's like you have those things that are taken out that are not allowed to be in class and in schools like that. It's like those are things that taught you to be self-sufficient. Those are things that taught you to be able to fend for yourself. And it's like when we don't have those type of things, then you lose a certain part of your independence. It's like when you think about how most people nowadays don't know how to cook at home. They don't cook. It's like being put in a situation to where you have to cook. Then what are you going to fix? If you can't microwave it, what you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Now you're in a situation where you're not eating well, or you making bad food choices. We are more inclined to go buy some shit that's fast food than we are to buy groceries and do some meal planning for the week and say, well, I'm gonna cook this on Monday, eat it Monday, Tuesday, and I'm gonna cook again on Wednesday, eat that Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'm gonna do it all over again and go to the grocery store on Friday. And we are less inclined to do that. We are more inclined and more programmed to say, I'm gonna grab some McDonald's because it's cheaper and it's faster.
Very true.
And we're trading in our health and our life and our longevity. So because you decided to do that, as opposed to you living to be 90, you only gonna live to be 62. And at the end of the day, that's something that we have lost as a society. We've lost that as a culture, as our own people. At the end of the day, it used to be with black people, we were the kings of cooking when it came to cooking in here in America, because that's all we did. We didn't have no other option. We was too busy we were cooking for others, so we learned how to cook for ourselves. The jobs that we had or we could get, we didn't get in the front of the restaurant or in the front of the hotel. We were in the back. And it was an advantage to us then. Yeah, we didn't get to be the concierge, but we ran the goddamn kitchen because we knew how to cook. So it's like those type of things, when you take those things away, you take away your sense of stability and independence, you become dependent upon something. So now I'm dependent upon this government, or I'm dependent upon this other parent because I ain't got no daddy in the house. It's just me by myself. I'm the single mother. So now I'm dependent on others to fill that gap. And whether it's to give me a break, or whether it's to mentor my kid, or to be that father figure in my kid's life, I'm now trying to substitute that with other things. And now I don't really know what it is I'm substituting it with. Because if you knew what was in McDonald's 20 years ago, you wouldn't have been eating the shit. But it takes 4 or 5 documentaries to come out for you to actually realize that this is some fucked up shit. And I shouldn't be eating it because it's going to fucking kill me. It's not good for me. And it's like we do that with our children. We put them with people. We put them in situations or in programs where we haven't vetted that program. We haven't vetted those people out. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what those people do and where those people are going. Yeah, you put your kid in Little League Baseball, yep, because they do have a background check. But what about when that kid is with his teammates and that kid goes home for the weekend? Or what about after the game when that parent is having a pizza party and wanting to celebrate with all of the kids? You gonna let your kid go because you think it's a safe program and not really thinking about the consequences and repercussions of the other people that are surrounding that environment, what they are capable of.
But they got us all brainwashed. Let me explain. They got us brainwashed to the point of where we believe that, oh, that's a teacher. They won't do anything wrong. That's a priest. They won't do anything wrong. And the funny thing is, there's a movie, Sleepers. I want everybody to watch it. If you haven't watched it, you know I talk about this all the time. It's about these little boys that were raped by the corrections officers.
Yep.
The whole time they were in there, and they couldn't tell anybody because they were boys. But when you remember how they got off? Because the pastor got on the stand and lied and said they were with me the whole time. And because he lied, every one of the people say, oh, well, a pastor's saying this, it must be true. Think about how many centuries pastors have gotten away with doing some of the shittiest things to children because we believe teachers, well, they're teachers. That's their profession. They won't do anything. I grew up with teachers. So pastors, I grew up with pastors.
Right.
We willingly give our kids over to authority figures.
Yep.
You might let some police officer come pick up your kid because your kid did XYZ wrong. That police officer may never take your kid to jail while they putting them in there. They may take your kid somewhere and give them that, what they call that rough ride, where they turn the car and shit and making them, and then just put you back out. That was old school what they used to do. They wasn't taking you to jail. They give you the rough ride and then drop your ass back off and be like, now don't fuck up no more. But a lot of times back in the old days, and we're hearing about it now, they didn't just give them the rough ride. They went and did shit to your kid, your son.
Yep.
Well, but because you saw it was an authority figure, you didn't even follow the police officer to the jail that they were taking your kid to. You just accepted that this is an authority figure. I must accept this. Well, no, you don't. I got an email today from my daughter's teacher, and they gave her a demerit. saying that. And then when she wrote it, she explained, well, yes, Alex was just responding to what somebody said to her, but I had explicitly told them nobody should speak. And I said, I'm starting to get this a lot. I don't know if my daughter's just talking out of turn a lot. I said, but I'm gonna come to Atlanta. I think I'm gonna go next week. And I let her know I'm going to come to the school, because unless you're telling me that other child got in trouble, you're telling me this other child asked my daughter a question, my daughter responded, and my daughter's in trouble because she should have known better. I said, I don't like where this. Right. I get a lot of these messages, and because they talk directly to me. So I said, I get a lot of these messages. And then she turned around and said, "Oh, well, it's not a big deal." When I was saying I was coming, you can't tell me it's not a big deal when she got a demerit. I don't like that term.
Right.
My child shouldn't be getting any demerits. So if they're getting demerits, you cannot then turn around and tell me, "Oh, it's not a big deal." If it wasn't a big deal, you shouldn't have gave her a fucking demerit.
Exactly.
But there are not enough parents who give a shit that say, "No, you got to show me. You're gonna have to everything you're doing. I'm gonna be there."
Yeah, and even like when they have how they have the zero tolerance policies at schools now. Okay, you got a zero tolerance policy. However, if your kid or somebody else's kid hits my kid can't fight back, because then it's constituted as a fight, and then they'll both be expelled or they'll both be suspended. That doesn't make any kind of sense whatsoever. So it's like, why would you suspend both kids or expel both kids because this kid defended himself? That's a mentality. I don't want this kid, when this kid is in a construct or some type of government environment, I don't want my kid to think that they can fight back, because I don't want that adult to think they can fight back. I don't want that person to think that they can defend themselves. They need to solely depend upon the government, and they need to depend on authority figures to protect them, even when they're getting their ass beaten. It's a clear and present danger in their face. That's crazy. I would never teach my kid that. Somebody hits you, you rock their motherfucking world, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about whatever happens after that, because they shouldn't put their hands on you.
Like, you make them and anybody who saw it not want to put their hands on you. That's what you do. Yep. You make sure not only the person who put their hands on you, but the people who saw it say, we don't want to mess with him, because even if he lost, that motherfucker nuts. It was a white boy like that in high school. I tell the story all the time. We were going to whoop that white boy's ass because he said nigger. We was whooping that white boy's ass, and we kept saying, "What you say?" He kept on repeating it, "Nigger," while getting his ass tore the fuck up. After that, we never fought that white boy again. We was like, well, apparently he don't learn.
He's crazy.
Right. He's crazy. We just gonna have to be, when he say, hey niggers, we was like, what's up? We can't even fight him. He gonna keep saying it.
Yep.
And when you look at the way that they're raising the kids and the way that they're putting these things out there, in ways they're even punishing the kids for going home and telling their parents about what's going on in the school. Yeah. Now you got to deal with other teachers treating your kid different because your kid went home and told what was going on. Because your kid wanted your parents to be informed about what they were doing. And these are some of the things that make me say, yes, these parents need to be held responsible, because many of these parents could just do their due diligence one layer and they'd find out about who was potential threats to their kids, much less 2, 3, 4 layers. I'll let you end it with this. Why do you think so many parents are neglectful of their kids, especially parents who had something like that happen to them? Because everybody knows my daughter's mom said she was molested from the time she was 5 till she was 9. So why would you and she said it was by her uncle. So why would you let my daughter go off with your cousin? She didn't think she should have been overly protective, is what I would have thought. Why is it that these parents are not being just the simplest form of protective of their kids?
I'm going to have to go back to my initial statement with saying that they don't have the governing body of a family is meant to be with mothers and fathers, grandmothers and grandfathers, because what they do is they bring about, they are in positions of authority, and with that authority they also have influence. They have that family mentality, that family mindset. It is passed down. It's not inherent. You just don't become a good parent once you have a child. You have to be taught it. You have to be taught tradition. You have to be taught this is the way we do things. And when you're not, then you tend to let those things that shaped and molded you, that were of your environment and from your experiences, you tend to let those things govern your judgment. If I'm around a bunch of nonsense and debauchery and just, fuck shit all my life, it's not that I'm just totally oblivious to right and wrong. I begin to let those things be my governors. I begin to let those things shape my decision making. Because at the end of the day, the things that go on in the inner city and in the suburbs are different. The things that go on in the ghettos and in the rich areas of the neighborhood are different. So it's like there's a different type of governing system because there are certain things that are allowed and not allowed. And when you don't have that type of structure where there are governing bodies like mothers and fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers on both sides of the family, then there aren't ideas, there aren't different ways. So when you don't have options, you tend to do what is the norm. You tend to do what is in your environment. If everybody in the hood is doing hood shit, why wouldn't you? You may have those one or two that may break off and do something different that may be the anomaly. But in general, those people that are victims of their neighborhood, they are products of their environment. Those people that do the same bullshit that their mothers did and their grandmothers did and their grandmothers' grandmothers did, they are products of their environment. And when you don't have a good sense of watching over your child because you were taken advantage of, you were abused, you were mistreated, you were molested, you were raped, then you tend to be so used to it that you think it's the norm, or you just totally block it out and don't want to process it or deal with it. So anybody else is susceptible to come along and do that because it's not even on your radar to where you can protect yourself from it happening again. If I get raped because I was messing around with this one boy and this boy, he kind of liked me, or he didn't like me, I liked him. So I followed him down to the locker room, and then him and the rest of the basketball team all ran a train on me. When my daughter brings home a boy on the basketball team, it's going to take me right back to, I remember when I used to like the boys on the basketball team, but I'm not going to tell her that I had a train ran on me, though. Because I'm going to think, well, I hope that don't happen to her, so I ain't going to talk about it. I ain't going to speak that in her life. But yet and still, you see her doing the same thing. You don't tell her, don't you go no motherfucking well with this boy by yourself. Not just this boy, but any boy. You don't do that because you haven't processed your own fucked up shit. And therefore, you perpetuate it. So, no, she may not get a trans rain on her, but she might wind up fucking this dude at 15 and not have a baby. Now you're a grandmama. What do? As opposed to acknowledging what you failed to do as a parent, I'm gonna help her, raise her. She can still have a good life. She can still make it. I'm a grandmother now, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. I'm gonna take care of my baby and my grandson. Mm-hmm. So now you're steady passing on this you're crippling your child, and your child is now crippled another child because she didn't have a baby by somebody who don't have a stable father. Because you didn't have a stable father, she didn't have a stable father. So now what have you produced? A bunch of people who are not used to having a balanced parental environment. So therefore you are susceptible and you are victim to all of the other shit that's out here. So it all comes back to that. Parents should be held responsible for the things that they allow to happen to their children, because if they were and they knew some shit was going to happen to them, then they would definitely say, well, shit, I'm going to make sure I govern myself accordingly just for what the fuck might happen to me. Fuck what's going to happen to my kid. I'm going to be concerned about me. Shit, I'm going to go to jail. If my child gets molested and they catch the molester and that molester gets 12 years in jail, I should get 12 years too. And if that's the law, and if that's how motherfuckers start reacting and start thinking, then I'm gonna make sure I don't let my child get molested because I don't want to do 12 years.
Right, and
It's just that
I'm not
you
gonna
don't
let
get
my
no fucking trial or nothing.
and I'm not gonna let my child go off because, like you said,
Yeah.
if we connect that person to you, you introduced your child to that person, and because of your neglect, that person was able to rape, molest, fondle, whatever the hell words you want to use, your kid. That falls squarely in your lap. Now, if the teacher does it, you didn't have anything to do with this because you had no idea the teacher was doing this shit. But your boyfriend, the people you're letting your kid go off with, because the one thing is, most of these people can tell you. When you watch these young girls and boys who've been touched, you can see it. Like their demeanor changes. Remember in that movie when that one boy was like, yes, I don't even want to do this acting shit no more. I'm good. He just quit.
You did.
The other one became an alcoholic, a drug addict.
Yep. And the thing too is, in from a law enforcement aspect, when that kid gets interviewed by that detective or by that family services agent, and they talk to that kid and they ask that kid, so did you tell your mother? They build a relationship with him. They sit him down or her down in a comfortable environment. They ask that kid, so did you tell your mother? Yes, I told my mother. Well, when did you tell her? I told her, the second time that it happened. Well, how long was that? Well, he started doing it when I was 8. All right, and you 14 now. So you telling me that since, some 6 years ago, when this first happened, now you didn't do nothing that whole time? You didn't call the authorities. You didn't make a police report. You didn't go and get help. You didn't do none of that. You just talked. So what did you do, Mom? Well, I talked to him about it, and he said he wasn't going to do it no more. He said he was sick. Your ass needs to go to jail.
Yes.
Your ass needs to go to jail, plain and simple, because there is no excuse for that. I had no money. I couldn't. You shouldn't have been fucking an ain't shit dude. You should have got your fucking education. You should have had a better job to where you didn't need that nigga's money, and you had to sacrifice your son for it. Or you had to sacrifice your daughter for it because that dude said he was gonna leave. You couldn't pay rent, so you let him fuck your daughter, and you knew it. I saw this thing on Dr. Phil where the girl said, I told my mama. And at one point, he used to call me into the room with them. And she would be acting like she was asleep. And he would make me get on top of me.
Wow.
On top of me. I said, how the fuck do you get that far gone to where that's what you allow? And it's like, he admitted it. Went to jail for it, and you know what the mother said? Well, I didn't know what to do. Bitch, you knew what to do. You just didn't want to do it because you didn't want to go out and get your ass a fucking job. So you let your daughter, who wasn't his, because he didn't molest his other kids, he just molested her. You let him fuck her in your bed with you laying next to him. Why shouldn't she go to jail? There is no excuse for that.
But here's the thing. We give women a pass. Women get a pass for stuff like this. Women are told, you're a victim. If we had a guy, now the guy he'd immediately get told, that was your bad. You subjected your kid to this. But when it comes to these women, people are feeling bad for him. People feel bad for that mother that said, well, I let him do it because I needed the money.
I didn't know what else to do. And that in itself is like the fact that we have gotten to that point to where if a woman doesn't know what to do, she's exonerated from all that she has put in motion. Everything that she should be responsible for, she is instantly granted immunity. There is no consequences. There are no consequences and no repercussions for her actions, no matter how treacherous it may be. The fact that we automatically default to protect or to give the benefit of the doubt or in good faith, if you will, a mother when she decapitates her child. Oh, she decapitated her child to put him in the freezer. She must have been depressed.
That's what I said.
There must be something wrong with her.
People got mad.
The fact that we do that,
well,
why wouldn't a child be served up as a sex object?
Well, people got mad at me because I wrote at the end of the video that I said about Ben Affleck. Why do we give a shit more about people who are so-called harassing women than women killing kids? There are women who are killing their kids, and we give them an excuse, but we don't give a man an excuse for I got money and this bitch had titties, and I was just a victim of my own success. We don't ever give him a way out. Woman cuts a man's fucking penis off, and they give him a way out. These things,
and they make a joke of it.
Yes. So this is not right. I'm gonna give you the last word on this subject and what you would like to leave people with, because we covered a lot of bases when it comes to molestation, rape, and pedophilia. So I'm gonna give it to you.
At the end of the day, it is your job as a mother, it is your job as a father to first and foremost pick good fucking people to fucking procreate with. Get pregnant, get knocked up, whatever you want to call it. Start being and sleeping with fucking people that are better than you. Just as good as you at bare minimum. On your worst night, you drunk, you high, you depressed, you feeling bad about yourself, your situation, your life fucking sucks. Owe it to yourself to at least fuck somebody that's as good as me. And that mindset right there, it puts you in a position to where you can shoot for the stars, and if you fall short, you're going to at least land in the clouds. We have to start picking better people to procreate with, and pick those people based on who you fucking. Don't fuck anybody that's not on or above your level. That's the challenge.
But
that's
many
what you
people
need to challenge yourself with.
But when you say that to people who ain't shit, because that's what you're running into. A lot of these people who ain't shit are having babies by people who are on their same level. Number one, like what did it say? Water seeks its own level. I think that a lot of times what we're doing is we're dating people, even if they're not like us, they're like us in a way. I want somebody better than me, as I stated in the beginning, because I play up or down to my competition. And a lot of times we date people who ain't shit because it's just easier to date somebody who ain't shit. What do you have to do to even be? You don't have to work hard to get on their level. So I think that might be the problem. A lot of these people are having kids with people who are on their level. But there are too many ain't shit people who shouldn't be having kids in the first place. So they got together with another ain't shit person and had a kid. Now they have a kid that is they're coursing with their DNA through their veins. And the learned behavior of either the absentee father or the non-caring mom makes it worse. It exacerbates the type of person they're going to become. So they're going to become a super dumbass version of you because you felt it necessary to have this kid by, like you said, this ain't shit dude. But both of y'all wasn't shit. And nobody wanted to stop the problem, which is when you give a shit about your kid, you're going to protect your kid. The number one thing for a parent to do for a child is to provide. The next thing to do is protect. And most of these people who are parents today don't want to do either one of them.
I agree. I agree with that. And my thing too is that the people that you do sleep with or the people that you do procreate with, if they are better, then be willing to be better yourself, because now you are building with somebody. When you have a baby, when you get pregnant, yep, everybody makes a mistake. Condom breaks, or you have a late night, you're drunk, you're high, whatever, you roll over and just dabble into some pussy and you just wasn't careful. You still have an opportunity to stop the madness at the end of the day. And if you are sleeping with somebody who is rational, somebody who is logical, somebody who doesn't want to ruin a child's life by just having a kid with just anybody, then now you can set yourself up to where you can prepare to say, are we going to build together? Are we going to build a life together? Are we going to build a nation together with this child as it being the first one? Yes, great. No, have an abortion. Practice safe sex, whatever the case may be, because at the end of the day, the responsibility that we put on ourselves by being single parents is what makes our children easy prey. Mm-hmm. It makes our child the sheep. It makes our child the lamb. It makes our child the gazelle with the broken foot, with the broken leg. You're not even giving your kid a good head start. You're not even putting them in the starting blocks to where they can at least run with the others that are with them. You've already crippled them. A parent that has a child by themselves, you are crippling your child. So don't put yourself in that position to where that's what you do, just because your selfish ass wants somebody to depend on you and to love you unconditionally because they can't choose your ass. You gonna force them to be at your mercy.
Yep.
Don't be that selfish. Don't be that much of a shitbag to where you are willing to sacrifice an unborn child to live a lesser life than what it could, because you can't pick a good mother or a good father to have a kid with. That, at the end of the day, is the solution to a great portion of our problems as a society, and as more so as black people. Mm-hmm. Because we fuck the wrong things. First mistake. Second mistake, and which is even bigger, we have kids with the wrong fucking people. And that is what leads us down that slippery slope. That's why we look up at fucking 45 kids later, 6 kids later, and ain't none of them shit, because we've been fucking ain't shit dudes because we gave up after the first one turned out fucked up. Don't do that to yourself, and don't do that to another kid. Be more than what the fuck you are by having a parent that's better than the one that you had. Having a man in your life that was a better man than the one you didn't have. Don't go chasing your daddy. Chase somebody that may be better than your daddy. Chase somebody that is willing to sit down and build a life with you. Not because of your kid, because of you.
No woman should have children.
And fucking go Cubs.
Did they win? What's the
hell yeah, they did.
They moving
on to LA, and we've got LA next. We're gonna beat their ass like we beat their ass last year.
All right. Well, it's pretty much went the way it was supposed to. The teams that you expected to be in the finals are in the finals on the East. What are the Astros doing? Are they going to the final round?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they did or not. Let us know something, chat room.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at all that stuff. But as you guys see, I'm yawning. I don't know what's up with that. I just hit sleepy mode for some reason. I'm rarely ever sleepy at this time, but it's good. We got in about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours close. It was a good show. So 9 to 8. Damn, them motherfuckers went to a baseball game and a basketball game broke out. Somebody said the Yankees won. Wait a minute, what? Who the Yankees playing?
Oh, wow.
So if the Yankees won, then it must be 2-2. Last time I saw it, they were down 0-2. They shouldn't still be playing.
Yeah, because I knew they won the other night, but I didn't know that they won. They won again.
Oh shit! They went to the Yankees are in the ALCS.
Oh
no!
Yankees and Astros tomorrow. Wow.
The Yankees are in the ALCS.
Yep.
I would have never believed. I would
They
have
beat
never
the
believed they made it
They
to the
was supposed.
AFC.
Yeah, they was supposed to beat the Indians.
Nope.
They
God,
was
dog.
not supposed to beat the
The
Indians.
Indians were supposed to win it this year. They went and got what's his name? That motherfucker. They got shortstop, that nigga hitting all them home runs that they got him.
Damn. Wow. Yeah, they wasn't supposed to beat them Indians. Indians had
They
a
weren't even
fucking
supposed to be
good.
in the playoffs this year. This was
Yeah.
all rebuilding for the Yankees.
Wow. Oh yeah, it's on.
I think I'm about to go to one of them Astros Yankees games. Houston ain't that far.
Yeah.
I mean, it is if I drive.
How far are you from Texas?
I'm 13 hours from Dallas, and Dallas is 3 hours from Houston, so I could do it in 16 hours.
Houston. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be glad when I move down there, man. I can't
Oh,
wait.
you coming down this way?
Yeah, I want to move to Dallas, man.
I was thinking about
Got a
going there
couple of
because they don't have no state tax.
Irons in the fire for some jobs. Yeah, man, I get that job, man. Me and wife, we up.
Yeah, they don't have no state tax there. I was thinking, where am I going to go next? I may go to Vegas, but they be shooting out there. You know, it'd be wild if they named the football team.
They be shooting from the hotels out there.
Yeah,
No casino. They shoot from the casino out there.
I was like, God, dog, them niggas is just too real for me. Like, what if they had a basketball team and they named the team the Las Vegas Shooters?
The Las Vegas long shots.
Motherfucking Vegas Snipers. God, dog, this is inappropriate.
Man, right.
That's why they changed the name from the Washington Bullets, because all the people kept getting killed. They changed it to the Wizard. But he can't magically make y'all reputation disappear. I bet y'all need a wizard.
They said, we need this shit to disappear, y'all. Let's call ourselves the Wizards. Good name.
Dumbass name. They need to change them back to the Bullets. I like them better when they the Bullets. They need to be the Bullets.
Yeah.
They had nothing to do with them people killing themselves. They should be the Bullets. Anyway.
Yeah. Wasn't it like what was the logo? Was it like a little bullet going through the basketball or something like that?
It was weird.
Or was the basketball moving like a bullet or something?
No, it was weird. It was like a hand and another hand, a short hand and a long hand. I'll Google it right quick.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, it was like a short hand and a long hand. They didn't have a let me see. Washington Bullets logo.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I was right. It was just a short hand and a long hand, and like they were catching a basketball. So it looked like.
Okay.
I'll show it to everybody. It was like they were just catching a basketball. So let's see. There it is.
Yeah. All right. Yep, that's it. The Bullets.
I remember I said in one of my old rap songs, "Boy, you ain't got to live in D.C. to catch the bullets." keep talking shit, nigga. You ain't got to live in D.C. to catch the bullets.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So,
so man, what are your final thoughts, man?
Me, parents, protect your children, and if you don't protect, first off, the way you have children would determine how you protect them. That's a fact. If you had them in a loving relationship and you planned on having them and you had them all the right way, it would dictate how you treat them versus when you have them all willy-nilly. Now, that being said, we saw what's going on in Hollywood, people chasing a buck. Yep. You ain't got to be living in Milwaukee to chase the bucks. But anyway, I'm be doing that all day tomorrow. I'm be doing that all day tomorrow.
Boy, I tell you.
You got to live in New York to run into some Yankees. Boy, you ain't got. You got to live in Green Bay to get your shit packed.
This guy here, man. He's here all week, ladies and gentlemen.
You ain't got to live in LA to get rammed.
This guy coming to the stage, my boy, all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. Put your hands together for Tommy Sotomayor.
But if you ask me in the vacuum. We have to do something. And I know you can't legislate parenting, but in essence, they do. Your kids can call 911 on you and get you fucked up. They tell you when you can and can't hit your kids. So why aren't we having laws that are in place to help protect and save children? That's why that whole Pizzagate and the molestation that's going on with it, I think they're doing this shit on purpose. I think that a lot of the establishment has a huge fetish with little boys. Not even little girls, it's little boys. And because I remember when I was watching the Harry Potter, and I understand, I never watched Harry Potter. I just always, when I saw it on the Pogo thing, I kept looking at that little girl, and she's grown now, and everybody talking about how pretty she is now that she's grown. But I just remember when I would watch her in the video, I was like, you mean to tell me that people aren't seeing that they're putting this little girl out there for older men to look at? Like, if you just look at the way they had her acting and maneuvering, they're doing this, and I watch a lot of those, like the Disney shows, they're putting those children out there for older people to watch. Yep. And they're doing it right under our noses. Right in our faces. And we're not seeing it because we have such an affinity and high esteem for Hollywood, which I don't know why we have this. I do, because there's power and fame in Hollywood. Somebody said Harry Potter is petterific. I thought so. I sit there and looked at it. I was like, God, as I never watched it. I have the box set. I haven't watched it. I kept saying there's something about this that seems awkward. But if we start saying there has to be a concentration on parenting, because like you said, it would change society as a whole. If we just started putting out better kids in the society, and the best way to put out better kids is to be better parents.
Yep.
If you cannot say that these kids who are being subjected to these parents, putting them in front of people who molest and rape them, that something should happen to the parents who did it, then you're saying parenting doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
So that's my final word.
Absolutely, man. I agree 100%. I just want us to be better, man, at the end of the day. And I also want to give a shout out to TJ Rodriguez for your donation. And Robin Morris. Bam! Robin Morris came through. I thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Well, now, Bradley Calendar donated twice to me from Canada. $2.11 and $1. Now, I don't know what the 211 mean, but together that's $3.11. And in Canadian bucks, that's probably like $1.30. Canadian bucks go down. Like if it was European, it'd be up. But Canadians would go down. And then I got a donation from. You said you got one from somebody named Robin Morris?
Yep.
He donated to me too. Robin said, your message is on point. Keep on going. Please use Lady Green Eyes when referring.
What? What? I hear you.
Y'all got to start saying this stuff at the beginning of the sentence, because when I open this stuff up, I read it. They be writing shit like, yeah, here's a donation, and when I come see you, Tommy, next week, I'm going to suck your dick. Don't read this last part. Don't read that last part. Wait a minute, I just read.
Well, maybe I'm fucking up too.
You got to start it off with saying, don't read this out loud.
Yes.
So when you write, don't read this out loud,
yes.
I'll be reading it. It'll say, don't read this. Oh, okay, I don't read the rest of it out loud. Cool. You can't tell me the end of it.
I was actually being lazy. I wasn't actually clicking on the actual message. So I apologize. I would do that from now on. I learned one time.
She said the same thing to you?
I got it.
She told you don't say a real name, but we did. Both of us ain't shit.
Yes.
And then she told us don't say a real name, told us to say the other name. So then I let people know the real name or the other name. They gave up the secret. Don't. It's Billy.
It's my head, not my heart.
You know my name Mike Jones, but it's Billy Graham in the comment section. You know, I told both names. God, dog. Yeah.
Man,
I'm sorry about that, but
yes, indeed. I apologize too, because I've definitely just, yeah.
well, it look like we won't be getting no more donations.
Yes, indeed.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, I will definitely make sure that I click on it. And yeah,
And she's an
yes,
absolutely
all
gorgeous
righty.
woman. I
I
see her.
got you.
She's a gorgeous woman. I see her in the
Thank
chat room. So I
you.
want y'all to understand. And this is funny. When we talk about women, women typically support. What we talk about is about empowering men a lot. Oh, I know I do. And
Yeah.
do you watch a lot of people who donate? And you hear me read. It's usually women who are given the amounts that are like this. And it's strange if we're trying to help men and give them a voice. The biggest problem with men is men don't support shit. That's why women can get more shit done than men can, because men won't support shit that not with other men. They don't believe and they would do it. Women will do it though. Now maybe it's because women get disposable income. I don't know. Somebody said, "What are your thoughts about the Brownies and the Boy Scouts?" That's the stupid. I heard that shit last night on the You Dig, I think it was. That's the stupid shit I've ever heard, that they want to put girls inside. I don't like where society's going. I think that's another function of fathers not being at home. Because if there was fathers in every home, you wouldn't even have this discussion about having men be able to use the bathroom because they think they might be women that week. No. Ethan said, "How many women did I beat this week?" About 5. But
About 5.
yeah, by 5. But
It's
yeah.
a light week.
Mm-hmm. But that is the problem. That is the problem right there. That they're purposely knowing that women will look for, as you said, mentors and things like that to help them with their kid. A man will become a better parent because he's a single dad. He becomes super dad. And he would never allow a man who think he a woman to walk in and be able to pee with his daughters. He would never say boys who think they girls should be able to go in the girls' bathroom. Only people you can get that shit over on is girls. And what they're setting up is more rapes and more molestations. Period. They're setting this up to have more rapes and more molestations. The fact that they'll set them have women, when if a woman is kind of good enough to play football, they'll let this bitch come in there. They already let women reporters come in there while the men are getting dressed. It's out of line to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think because a buddy of mine asked me about this today, and I said this is a clear case of female supremacy. There is no reason or no excuse for the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts to have to allow one or the other into each other. Whatever it is that the Boy Scouts are doing, the Girl Scouts can do the same exact thing. They do not have to be Boy Scouts to do it. They do not. There is no reason except for the fact that they want to just say, hey, we taking over this too, and we are in this too, and we running this too, then for them to want to do that. At the end of the day, it's just, we have lost the idea and the concept that it's okay for women and girls to do women things, to for a girl to want to be a woman and do womanly stuff, and that's what it is that they do. We've lost that. We made that not be okay. We made it to where they should want to aspire to be what we are. And if you all are trying to be us, then who's being you? Who's doing what you were made to do? Who's doing what you are good at, what you are at your best at? Because at the end of the day, you can sit there and say, well, we should have the right to do whatever we want to do. Yeah, but at the end of the day, can't no woman be a linebacker like a dude.
Very true.
Plain and simple. So why would a woman want to be a linebacker at the expense of her sacrificing who she is and who she's best at being, or what role she's best at doing? Why would you want to do that? I don't understand why we as a society are making that okay to where women feel shitty about being women. And it's the women that are donating like Green Eyes. It's the other women that support us and that send things to us. It's an unfair burden that you all have to bear, because I feel that a lot of the women that are supporting and that support Soto Nation, I feel like they have to do it in such a silence, and they have to be so secretive about it because they are so outnumbered by those overbearing women that don't know how to respect male energy. They aren't used to male energy, so they are so opposed to it. And that whole thing of it being where a man doing a man thing is a bad thing because a woman should be able to do a man thing too. And it's like you have stripped away what it is to be a woman. We are chipping away at it every day with a fucking hammer and a chisel. We're just chipping away at those beautiful aspects and attributes and characteristics that women have. I like a soft woman. I like a woman that is nurturing and loving and caring. I don't want a woman to compete with me. I don't want a woman that wants to be as masculine as me, because I appreciate a woman in her softness, in her submissiveness, in her own I guess you would call it being a homemaker, being able to take care of it. It's nothing like coming to a home that a woman has decorated and built and made her own. Ain't nothing like that. Yeah. Where she's put her stamp on it to where it's hers and she's done it and nobody else can duplicate that shit.
Yeah, they ain't homemakers.
It's something special about it.
They ain't homemakers no more. They homemakers now.
Man, I'm telling you, and it's like those few women that are still left out in the world, I feel so bad for you all, because these female supremacists or the feminists, whatever you want to call it, they make it a bad thing for you all to want to be what you want to be. They're so hell-bent on trying to compete in a man space that they are so quick to just discount and dismiss what it is to be a woman, and anybody that wants to be womanly, wants to be feminine, wants to be girly, wants to be that type of wifey type material, they make it a bad thing. They are shaming women from being what they were and playing the role that they have played. And those women build societies. They build great nations. They are the ones that birthed the big nations. And it's like when you look in other societies, look at the role the women play and look at how strong those societies are. Look at the role that the men play and look at how strong their society is. We're the ones that are so hell-bent on tearing that shit down and tearing it apart, and it's going to be to our own demise. And my rant is done.
No. And I think we as men are willingly watching our rights, our children, everything be taken away from us. And if we're not willing to stand up for it, then we can't complain about that it is gone. It is gone because we don't take it seriously. We're not going to take our lives seriously. We're not going to take our children seriously. We're not going to take our role in family seriously. Then we cannot get mad about the fact that they are not taking us seriously. And on that, I say thank every one of you guys for joining the show. Thank everybody who donated, who gives a crap about us.
Yes, fact, thank you so much.
I got a donation from somebody named TJ. I don't know who TJ is, but thank you, TJ, for that donation as well. So that
thank you, TJ.
Cool. And I want to say thank you, Brian, as always, the voice of reason on the show, the voice of consistency, and the voice of not so much stupidity as I am. I see things, I smash, Hulk smash. I don't think before I go in and then say, fools rush in and I rush in too much. My last name need to be Putin, much as I be Russian.
That's about 6 of them, man. I'm proud of you. You're on the roll.
But I do want to say thank you so much for getting me up and getting me to do this damn show. Hopefully I'll be able to get me some good sleep right now, because if I keep yawning like this, apparently I'm really tired. But watch what's going to happen. This fucking Red Bull going to kick in as soon as the show over.
You just drank a Red Bull?
I didn't drink it all.
Why would you do this?
I did it earlier trying to wake up and it didn't work.
Oh, man.
I was drinking rum.
Well, I also want to thank I want to thank Super T for his donation, and I also want to thank let me make sure ain't no name here. Cynthia. See, I'm learning. I want to thank you all for your donations last week. I appreciate you guys so much. And to my brother from another mother, There are a few things in life, man, that one can truly build and know that it will live on after he's gone. And I am so glad that I was able to build this thing with you and to be a part of something that I know will be here after me, to know that my children, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren will be able to look at this one day and see the thoughts and ideas of their grandfather and his crazy ass friend and be able to at least learn something, if not that will help them in their life, but could possibly give them an outlook on or some insight on what our lives were like and what we dealt with. It is truly special and a joy. And I always say this, I try my best every week to not take this shit for granted. The people that are in the chat room, the mods, Soto Nation, even when y'all fuck up, it's all about being family, and it's all about saying, hey, when I fuck up, I take my licks and I keep on ticking. It's all right when you mess up, when you acknowledge it and you accept it and you can move on at the end of the day. And it's like, we all have our faults, we all have our flaws. Acknowledge them and understand them and try to make them better, and you'll be better for it, man. I love you guys. I appreciate the opportunity that I had. To my brother DJ, who just, always shows me love on the You Dig, man, and to Packer Girl, who always showed me love. I appreciate you guys for allowing me to be a part of this platform. I appreciate you guys for supporting me, because you didn't have to and you don't have to. And I thank you for it, man. I love you all. And I'm done. I'm sleepy too. And good night.
Well, I want to say everything that he said. All right. Now, the great speech, everything that he said. Thank you guys so much for everything that you're doing. Thank you, Lady Green Eyes. Thank you, everyone, for just getting us over 5,000. We're over 5,000 subscribers. We're building it slowly but surely. Wow. And what'll happen is, if we keep on putting out good content, it'll keep on going. It'll keep going, and it'll start to jump. When you get to a certain number, it starts to jump, because then people start to know your name or know the thing that you are. And then we're being pretty consistent again every Thursday. I'm gonna start putting up little small pieces of content during the week as well on the channel, just so we can give people more to watch in between the week. I don't care if we do. I still want you to start doing some Brian's Brain, to where you just saying, either we take something out of the show, or you just come back and think of something when you get off the show and record it real quick and upload it. 5 minutes.
Okay.
What's on Brian's Brain? There's nothing of mine that sounds like that. That's just real cool. Brian's Brain, same word with just one letter. I think. Hey man, I'm a marketing genius. I'm just saying. But
yeah,
I'd like to thank.
There it is.
I'd like to thank all you
Facts.
guys. I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to say to every one of you guys, good night. I'm like delirious and messing around. The girl done texted me and was like, I thought you were going to bed, Nick. You said you was going to bed.
You said it.
But you made me come over there and suck your dick. You threatened me with a dick sucking. What kind of shit is that? Keep on, him. Keep on, here I come over there.
She gonna put that chassis on you, boy. You better not. You better lay down on your back and don't move your head.
I think you're right. I think we gotta start calling it the chassis. Whenever motherfuckers doing some when motherfuckers is borderline raping you, that's the chassis. You got that chassis put on you, nigga.
You gonna put that chassis on you, boy.
You don't need no wheels to get this chassis, nigga. You don't need them.
I've been jogging all day. Better not move. Better not move.
I haven't showered in 48 hours. You better have your face ready when you get home. Hey, dog, I gotta go. I just got a text from my girl.
He said, I haven't showered in 48 hours. Better not move. Better not move. I swear to God. Don't you move one motherfucking, don't you fucking move.
Why do you let her treat you like that? I kind of enjoy it. Strangely enough.
Hey, man, why you let her do that to you? It's the donations, man. It just be calling me, man. I just gotta go to it, man. It be calling me, man. I just gotta go to it, man. I'm sick, man. I need help, man.
I can't deny the donations. I can't, man. I love the dough.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Hey, y'all.
Yep.
We are going to be out. My girl sent me a nice picture of boobies, so I'm finna go and jack off to them. I was saying good night to everybody, man. Thank you so much, man. I'll see you tomorrow. Talk to you a little bit later. Talk to all of you guys. We out.
All right.